What's up, Mets fans, and welcome back to the Mets Rob on this afternoon baseball. Mets versus Nationals. Game 3 of the series and the rubber game between the Mets and the Nationals with Taijuan Walker on the mound for the Mets to take another series in the 2022 season. Welcome back to PMWR, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in on this afternoon, Thursday. I guess the day straight some days, but this afternoon, Thursday, for the Mets and the Nationals. So, you know what happened last night? It was a tough loss. All the runs were scored in the first inning. It was a million game, so to speak, but let's be honest, guys. Good teams lose bad teams. It's possible. And as much as it was frustrating yesterday, it's very hard to come back from a game when your starting pitcher gives up 8 runs in the first inning and you gave him two. Oh, sorry. Give me 1 second, guys. 1 second. I see there's a. All right, we're good now. All right, just making sure. Just making sure I'm good now. Let me just make sure everybody can hear me better. You can say it in the comments section. All right, we're good now. All right, guys, sorry about that. So, once again, guys, it was a tough performance last night for the Mets. Again, it's very hard for a team to come back in the game when your starting pitcher gives up 8 runs in the first inning. That's to give him a 3-run cushion in the first inning. So, unfortunately, Mcgill had a terrible game. But that time is done. 1 second, guys. All right, guys, how do I sound now? Sound like I'm underwater. All right. Well, I feel like I am underwater, but all right, guys. I changed the microphone. Let me know if you can hear me better. Good. Can you hear me now better? All righty, we're better again. All right. Let's see if the next microphone doesn't destroy my cool underwater sound. All right, guys. So Tyler Mcgill, tough outing. Couldn't get out of the. I mean, it was just bad. Unfortunately, he gave up 8 runs after a 3-run cushion. And I understand that. I know a lot of people were frustrated yesterday. All of the Twitter people were pissed off. I mean, they were killing Escobar. They were killing Dominic Smith on Twitter. It was bad. Honestly, when the Mets scored the first 3 runs of the ball game in the first, I thought it was going to be a blowout for the Mets. But you know what? Games happen like this throughout the year. Even bad teams beat good teams. The Pirates took 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers, who some consider the best team in baseball, right? So what happens? The good news for the Mets, there's 2 good things. We can win the series and another series in the 2022 season without losing the series during the season, which is great to know and have that opportunity to do so. The second good thing, Steven Nagosek and Trevor Williams saved this Mets bullpen from absolute disaster, because if they didn't pitch well the rest of the game, the Mets would have had to go into their bullpen even more when we don't have a day off for the next 2 weeks. So thank God for the New York Mets and that Steven Nagosek and Trevor Williams for doing what they did yesterday in a loss. If you could take any positive out of that, it's that them 2 saved the bullpen. And that is exactly the kind of thing that you needed yesterday, even though the offense was non-existent after the first inning. And they kept them to 0 runs after that. So if the Mets were to creep back in somehow with their offense being basically a ghost at this point right now, it's a good thing to see that this could actually be some positive in yesterday's game, because we got our entire bullpen ready for today and ready for the Seattle series going forward, coming back home. So, Joe, I just saw that right before I came on. Cano to the Padres, which is a very interesting thing. They like to take I mean, listen, it's minimum salary for him for the Padres. So if he doesn't perform, they could just cut him. So, oh well, good for him. He found another spot, which is not surprising. Yeah, Nogosek looked very good yesterday. Absolutely. He was dominant, actually. And I mean, the way to look, Tyler Mcgill had no command over his pitches. He was throwing his fourth best pitch in his curveball, which he hardly ever throws because there was no command in his fastball. His changeup and slider was just not there at all. And listen, every pitcher go through it where they can't find the plate, they struggle. It would have been nice he didn't give up 8 runs, but no, I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, you got to take him out earlier." Before he gave up the 8 runs, when it was 5-3, he should have been taken out. Sure, you can say that. But there is no guarantee that, you can – I guarantee you if you put a lie detector test on a Mets fan at that moment and say, okay, between Nogosek and Trevor Williams, whoever you're going to put in that game, we're not going to give up runs, I think every Met fan would have probably been, yeah, they probably would have. Nobody could anticipate that they were going to have, 7-8 scoreless innings after that? You can't predict that. So as much as people wanted to take him out, I don't think it would have been. I don't think anybody would have thought that Nogosek and Williams would have put zeros on the board throughout the rest of the game. So again, I would have took him out after 5-3 because he just didn't have it. You might as well just take him out of his misery earlier. But Buck Showalter tried to show confidence in the guy he trusted opening day to start the season. And I'm not going to blame Buck Showalter on that because he has been good and he has been a bulldog, a guy who didn't have his stuff on certain days and still found a way to get through 5 innings to save the bullpen. He just didn't have nothing yesterday. And every major leaguer pitcher goes through that. So I'm not going to go crazy on Buck Showalter, but good job by Nogosek and Williams to save the Mets bullpen for the next week and a half, basically, until our next day off. And, it's not going to get easier. We got the Mariners. We got the Cardinals. We got the Braves again. We got the Phillies again over the next week and a half. So saving our bullpen is extremely important. And on top of that, we do have Scherzer starting tomorrow against Seattle for the night game on Friday. So, we got our ace on the mound. So, we hopefully get Scherzer giving us 7 innings or so. So, once again, guys, thank you guys for tuning in to Mets Pregame Live on Talking Mets at Rob. Don't forget, guys, to please hit on that like button. It is subscriber mode only. So, let's hope the bots don't make a lovely appearance as usual. Trying something different. I blocked the names. I went subscriber mode. So, anybody who is here is a subscriber of the channel. So, I will not be annoying with that. So, but you got to make sure, guys, it is up to you guys, the subscribers, to hit on that like button so we can get the stream out to more Mets fans and more baseball fans alike for this afternoon baseball, which is one of my favorite. The best thing about afternoon baseball is that you can sit down. Unless you're working, you might be listening to it on the radio. You might be listening to me at work. If you're not watching, you're listening. The good news about what I like about afternoon baseball is that it's just it reminds me as a kid. Like being off on a Saturday or Sunday, even though it's a Thursday today, having afternoon baseball, you don't have to, have your mom or dad or your guardians, whoever's watching you, telling you to go to bed on a school night, because you got to go to school instead of watching the game at 7 o'clock at night and you have to go to bed at 8:30 or 9. So it reminds me of being a child or being a kid. Can't wait that I can stay up to watch the whole game and not have to worry about going to sleep early. And that's why day baseball is always fun. Again, when you're an adult, it's a little bit of a different story because you got things to do. You might be working. You might have the game on the radio, or you might be just checking your phone to see the score. So I honestly like having day baseball. It's fun to me, especially when I work overnight. I can get a few hours of sleep before the game, so that's good for me. Again, a lot of people are working right now, so I appreciate you guys either listening to me or listening to it on the radio. I think it's always afternoon baseball is important for the kids as well. Usually it's camp day during these times, or a school field trip, something like that, which I remember doing when I was in elementary school. We used to have, and mostly it was the time it was afternoon weekdays where you used to get tickets. And for some reason, at the time when I was in high school, the Yankees were great. It was always Yankee games that my school used to attend, and I used to wear my Mets shirt because I didn't give a damn. But but once again, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. If you're at work, if you're driving for work, or whatever you guys are doing, I see D. Garcia is driving a garbage truck. Just be safe out there, guys, and hopefully you enjoyed the stream, and hopefully you enjoyed the Mets game today. So here we are, guys. Mets versus National rubber game match for the Mets and the Nationals. Taijuan Walker is on the mound for the Mets, and Yohan Ador is for the Nationals pitching today. So Taijuan Walker has been pretty decent since he's been coming back. And look, you can expect probably 5 or 6 innings for him if he's on his game, and that's what I think we can expect. But yesterday scares me a little bit because Juan Soto is starting to get hot. Nelson Cruz looked like he woke up from the dead, and that scares me. And with a guy like Taijuan Walker, who, if he doesn't have his stuff, can get hit very hard, I worry that this game could be our first loss. This series can be our first loss of the year. And not that I anticipate that, but I just hope that Tyler Mcgill was either tipping his pitches or he just didn't have anything last night. And that's the reason why the Nationals hit him, not because they started to get a little hot, even though the Nationals have played well over the last week. So once again, guys, Mets Nationals, we're going to go through the lineup. We're going to go through the pitching matchup. And we're going to talk about the lineup. The lineup is similar to a Sunday lineup, so to speak. Buck Showalter doesn't shy away from getaway days, or even if it's a rubber game to take the series, he does not seem to care about that. He puts the players that he expects to be in and do the job, which is fine with me because he keeps the guys fresh, and that's okay. So what we're going to do first right now, guys, I'm going to share my screen. We are going to look at the pitching matchup first. And obviously, we just talked about it. Taijuan Walker with his 4.91 ERA with 7 strikeouts. Still hasn't had a win or a loss on the season so far. Going against Yohan Ador, 6.99 ERA with a 1-5 record and 27 strikeouts. He can strike out guys. He does have strikeout stuff. But we talked about it yesterday with I'm sorry, we didn't talk about it, but with Sanchez yesterday, he had over a 6 ERA. And for the most part, after the first inning, he shut down the Mets. So, ERA, you can look at it and be like, oh, the Mets should kill this team. Yeah, of course, on paper. But that's why you play the game. Any team at any moment can beat any other team. The Pirates beat the Dodgers 2 out of 3. The Mets can lose to the Nationals 2 out of 3. It's just what baseball is, and that's why baseball, I think, is the greatest sport, because anybody can beat anybody at any given moment. So that is your pitching matchup for today, this afternoon. Mets 20-11, Washington 11-21. The game starts at 1:05, obviously at Nationals Park. And the lineups today for our New York Mets is this, guys. Brandon Nimmo leading off, playing center field. Starler Marte batting second, playing right field. Francisco Lindor, he is playing again, playing shortstop at third, batting third at shortstop. Pete Alonso cleaning up, playing first base. Jeff McNeil has been moved up in the lineup to 5th, right behind Pete Alonso, which I like, playing second base. Mark Hanna playing left field, batting 6th. JD Davis batting 7th, DHing. Luis Guillorme batting 8th, playing third base. And Tomasito catching, batting 9th. Something about this lineup that I like a lot more than I did yesterday. There is no reason why Dominic Smith should be in this damn lineup yesterday. JD Davis, Dominic Smith got a whole week of starts from first base and DH throughout the whole week without J.D. Davis getting a start. J.D. Davis should have started yesterday. After the game he had in game 1, where he hit every ball hard, and he looked like he started to get in a little bit of a groove, seeing the ball and hitting the ball, he should have been in the lineup last night. Again, it might have not meant nothing, but Dominic Smith, all he does is softly pop up. And he's getting to the point now where I cannot stand Dominic Smith in the lineup. I don't care if you're a Dom squad guy. I don't care how much everybody wanted to keep Dominic Smith. When that whole trade almost went down with San Diego, Dominic Smith has not been good in a year, in a month and a half now. And still people are clamoring to have Dominic Smith in the lineup every day when he has not produced except one time this year, and that was the Sunday Night Baseball game when he had the chance of getting sent down. That's my biggest problem with Dominic Smith. J.D. Davis needs to be in the lineup every single day at DH until J.D. Davis shows you he cannot do it. If he's another one that's not performing well, guess what? Make a decision. J.D. Davis or Dominic Smith going down to the minors and bring up somebody else. If it's Vientos, Ronnie Mauricio has been playing well. It really depends at this point. But at this moment, J.D. Davis needs to start playing every day because Dominic Smith lost that position and lost that spot of coming in as the everyday DH, which everybody thought was going to happen when Cano was DFA'd. Dominic Smith was going to get more playing time. He did, and he failed. It's time for J.D. Davis to get that opportunity every day for at least a week, just like Dominic Smith did. So I think that was the bad thing about the lineup yesterday. On top of that, Escobar is not in the lineup today. He's another one that's been struggling. He got a hit, I think it was in the 9th inning yesterday, so you could say maybe he's finding something. I don't know. But it's a good day to give Escobar a day off. Mentally, me and Ken talked about it. I think Lindor and Pete Alonso should have got a day off today as well. If you wanted to throw Dominic Smith in the lineup, fine. To give Alonso a day off throughout this long stretch that we're going to have, they didn't do that. Or Francisco Lindor. So at this point, I'm glad Dominic Smith's not in the lineup. Escobar should need a day off, and he's getting a day off. Sooner or later, Lindor and Alonso has to have a day off. They played every day this year. But I do like Jeff McNeil batting behind Pete Alonso, who's been one of our best hitters in the lineup as of late. Again, Nimmo has been pretty damn good at leadoff spot. Marte I still like in the 2-hole. Lindor needs to get it going too. I mean, his average dropped all the way from 280s, 290s to now 235. So he needs to start, 238. He needs to start getting it together as well, especially in the middle of this lineup. He's killing the middle of this lineup. But once again, guys, the Mets haven't been scoring runs, but they've been finding ways to win. And they've been finding a way to win series without the major production that we were seeing early in the season with bunching a lot of hits together, scoring a lot of runs that way. And if you don't have 2 or 3 people in your lineup that are hot, you have a hard time bunching hits together. So that is your lineup for the New York Mets. And when it comes to the Washington Nationals, leadoff is Cesar Hernandez playing second base, Juan Soto batting second, playing right field, Josh Bell, who's been red hot, playing first base, batting third, Nelson Cruz cleaning up, batting DH, who hit a bomb yesterday, a home run, Yadiel Hernandez batting fifth, playing left field, Keibert Ruiz catching, batting sixth, Maikel Franco playing third base, batting seventh, D. Strange Gordon playing shortstop, batting eighth, and Lane Thomas batting ninth, playing center field. So it's basically almost the same lineup, as yesterday for the Nationals, except for Lane Thomas. And that's your Nationals lineup for this afternoon's game against Taijuan Walker. So, guys, once again, can the New York Mets win another series? I have confidence that they will. And I do expect the Mets to bounce back today. And it's unfortunate that I thought the Mets were going to destroy the Nationals yesterday after that 3-run inning. I thought it was just going to be a ho-hum game. Put your feet back, relax. But no. Not only I had to stress about the Ranger game, I had to be pissed off about the Mets game. So that's where we are right now, guys. Once again, guys, I'm going to shout out everybody right now in the chat. So if you're in the chat right now, we got 34 right now. Again, I'm not expecting a big crowd today. It's the middle of the day on a Thursday. So once again, guys, say what's up in the chat so I can shout everybody out that's in the chat and give a shout out to a new member in just a second. So here we go, guys. Joseph is the new member of Talking Mets with Rob. So everybody give a shout out to Joseph. Joseph, I appreciate you taking up on the Shea Stadium membership. I do appreciate that. So another member of Talking Mets with Rob is in full effect. And Joseph, I do appreciate you for becoming a member. Thank you so much. Grant, a member of Talking Mets with Rob. Ron says, let's go Mets. Who else we got here? We got Victor. We got, who else? NTA Prodigy. We got D. Garcia. Who else we got? We got Ray Rods. We got, who else we got here? Roberto, a member of Talking Mets with Rob. Shining Steel, who is a Yankees fan but has been showing the support. Joe and the Lockout. Absolutely. Toucan is here as well. Who else we got here? We got Ken. We got William, Rocky, Mothman, Lane. Who else? Carlos. Who else is here? And Edwin. What's up, guys? Thank you guys for tuning in today to TMWR for the pregame, and hopefully you stick around for the Mets versus Nationals. Estefania, how you doing? Once again, guys, there has been, if you haven't tuned in to the last stream, no problem with the copyright issue with the TV call with Gary Keith Duran, or at the moment it's Gary and Keith. So we're going to continue to do the TV call, which everybody seems to like a lot more, and it's a lot easier for me to not deal with the stupid radio stream on the phone. So it's a lot easier to do that now. Once again, guys, game day will be up as well as always, and it's in subscriber mode now. So if you haven't checked out the stream and you're just a subscriber and you're just tuning in, we do game day up on the screen, and we also do the TV or radio call. Now it has been the TV call over the last game or two, so we're going to keep it at that. A lot of people seem to like that, so we're going to keep on doing that, and you get the call of Gary, Keith, and Ron, depending on who's in the booth at that time. So here we go, guys. What do the Mets have to do today to get the job done and win another series heading back home for the Mets? Well, there's two things. We need a little bit of length out of Taijuan Walker. You know, it's very hard to come back in a game when your team gives up, when your pitcher gives up 8 runs in the first inning. Robert Sorrow, how you doing, buddy? That's number one. Give me 5-6 innings from Taijuan Walker. Even if it's 2 or 3 runs, I think we can deal with that. Matthew, how you doing? So I expect him to give up runs, but 5 or 6 innings from Taijuan Walker, 2 or 3 runs, I can live with that. That's no problem. Number 2, the Mets need to start bunching more hits together. They scattered 10 hits yesterday, probably more. I think it was 11, if I'm not mistaken, because I know they got a couple hits in the 9th inning. Let me see. Let me just double check to give you some little bit of info there. So the Mets got 10 hits yesterday. The Mets had 10 hits yesterday, but they were scattered throughout the 9 innings. And that's not a way for this Mets team to win ball games. You know, if it's not Alonso hitting home runs, the other way the Mets are scoring runs are just bunching hits together, and they have not done that. The Mets need to do that today. I want to see. That's why I like the lineup. He's pushing everybody up who still has a little bit. They're a little bit on a hot streak, but they're looking better at the plate. Besides Lindor, 1 through 5, everybody has been hitting a little bit better. So there we go. That's what the Mets need to do. 2 things. Pitching a little bit more, a little bit of length from Taijuan Walker, 5 or 6 innings, 2 or 3 runs. I will take that. And the Mets offense need to start bunching hits together. They need to do what they were doing in the early part of the season, the first week or 2 of the season. Once again, it's very hard for a team that doesn't have much power to bunch hits in a row, because you need multiple people to be on a good streak or a hot streak in the same lineup to get the job done bunching hits together. You know, this team is missing some more power. You know, Escobar needed to be that guy as well, and he hasn't been. He's been terrible. But the Mets have found a way to win 21 games this year, be 10 games over 500, and be in first place by 6 games. So it's not terrible, as this team has not hit on all cylinders yet, or at all. and they're still 21-11. So that's good. Yo, America, how you doing? And that's a good sign. Good teams find a way to do that, find a way to win games, and that's what the Mets have been doing. And Toucan, I know, Drew Smith in 11 2/3 has not given up a run this year. He's the only reliever in baseball that has not done that as of yet. He's been our best bullpen arm. And again, he is the trusted guy late in games, in the 7th, 8th, maybe even the 9th, every now and then when Diaz can't go. So the best part about this Mets team is that we have a closer who has been really, really good this year, has been dominant this year, which, again, I'm surprised, but he's been dominant this year. Drew Smith, we know he always had the stuff, but it was his health. That was the main issue with the Mets. And he's healthy. So the stuff and the performance is not shocking because he's healthy. Other guys like Chasen Shreve, who's been excellent this year. Joely Rodriguez, after his first three opportunities of the year with the Mets, has been very good as well. And Seth Lugo, who hasn't pitched a lot because the Mets haven't been needing him, he's been better after the first week and a half of the season as well. So the bullpen has been good. Trevor Williams yesterday, Nagosic yesterday, they were good yesterday. So everybody in this bullpen has been playing their part and doing it well. And that's a good sign for the Mets. But all of a sudden, the Mets rotation has been giving up a couple of runs here and there, hasn't been pitching to their capability lately. Again, you can't have starting pitchers just blow away everybody every game and, they're going to remain hot throughout the entire season. It's impossible. The Dodgers have been pitching well. The Yankees have been pitching well. Sooner or later, everybody comes back to earth and has bad starts. It's just that simple. The Mets, it took them, 35 games for, it took them the last 3 or 4 games for the pitching to be a little bit shaky, but they still won those games most of the time. So some days it's the offense, some days it's the starting pitcher, some days it's the bullpen. The Mets haven't put everything together yet, where the bullpen's good, the starting pitching's good, the hitting's good. Everything hasn't been all together doing well. They still haven't clicked on all cylinders yet. And they're 21-11 in the first place by 6 games. So that's something that to be positive about, absolutely. You lose games like yesterday, right? You can go back to the St. Louis game when the Mets came back. You went to the Phillies game when the Mets came back. Those are 2 games where the Mets could have easily lost those games last year without even a fight. That's 2 extra games that's in the win column for us because this team can come back. So there we go. And there's positivity with this team, even though they haven't been playing great and running on all cylinders yet. And when they do, they could probably throw off 7, 8, 9 in a row at some point. Still haven't swept the series yet, but again, you don't have to sweep a series to be happy with how the Mets played in the series. The Mets can win today, and we take another series. We still haven't lost a series in the year yet, and that's nice to see. You know what? Every other team has. The Dodgers have. The Yankees has. The best teams in baseball have lost series. So it is what it is. But the Mets keep on taking series. They're going to be fine throughout the year. A little bit of news, Sean Reed Foley is having Tommy John surgery. That's unfortunate. I honestly like his stuff. He struggled this year, but it kind of sucks because he was supposed to be a part of this bullpen. Unfortunately, he got hurt, and he hasn't pitched well, which sucks. But that's baseball, right? Unfortunately. So I know some people are talking about other people, Wilson Contreras. Again, Wilson Contreras will bring offense and some power, absolutely. But again, the Mets are built around their core players, right? The Alonsos, the Lindor, the Nimos, the McNeils, and scattered with veterans Marte, Escobar, and Kana. Let's be honest, guys. Escobar has been absolutely terrible this year, who was supposed to provide that extra power around Pete Alonso as well. Has not done that. Mark Kana has come a little bit back to earth. He's still an on-base machine, but he hasn't been hitting as well as he was earlier in the year. The same thing with Starling Marte. He struggled over the last week. The last couple of games, he has been hitting a little bit more, but the Mets defense has been good as well. It's just, when your pitcher gives up bombs and can't find the plate, you're going to give up runs. So, once again, guys, we're 57 viewers right now in Mets pregame. We got about a half hour until game time. So, don't forget to hit on that like button, everyone. We're in subscriber mode for Mets versus Nationals today. So, only subscribers are welcome into the live stream. Now, so will the bots come? Who knows? We'll anticipate them not being here, but who the hell knows? So let me see what's up in the comments right now, guys. It's a little warm day over here today. I'm a little warm. Whew. Yeah, Ella, Rodon would have been great, but that doesn't change the fact that the Mets are having problems scoring runs. Even though they're top 3 or 4 in the league in runs, a lot of that has been in the first 2 weeks of the season. And when they do score a lot of runs, they'll score a lot of runs in one game, and then they'll score 2 the next game and 3 the next game and win games still, which is still excellent to see because their pitching has been good. But the Mets haven't been, averaging 5 runs a ball game. They haven't. They probably are still average-wise because they score, they'll score 8 runs here in one game and 10 runs here in another game, and then a couple of games after that, they'll score 1 run or 3 runs. So, Joe K, it's not about wait until everyone starts hitting. Last year, even though the Mets were in first place, they never hit well last year at all with runners in scoring position. This team has. Even though it's been scattered over a course of games, they haven't been, put in a great run scoring streak in a series as of yet. Yeah, it can, exactly. They scored 8 days ago. Great. And then yesterday, they scored 3 runs and they couldn't score after the first inning. The Mets have bunch runs in 1 inning and then completely forget how to score runs in games. And it's been absolutely amazing. Like, they would score 8 runs in the ninth, 7 runs in the ninth inning to beat the Phillies, and they didn't do nothing else the rest of the game until the ninth inning. That's why their run per average, or their average per game, are up there around, 4, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It might be a little bit more than that. But the reason why their average is high per game is because they bunch a lot of runs in 1 inning, and then they forget how to hit after that. And that's the biggest problem. And Ella, I understand when it comes, again, I was not a fan of Dominic Smith. I have not been. I think he is way too overrated by a lot of Mets fans. And whatever your reasoning is, why you like Dominic Smith so much, was it because of the 2020 season when he showed his true emotion, or he hits 1 big home run at the end? Well, I don't even call it a big home run, but a game-winning home run, the last game of the season against the Braves in 2019 after his injury. Great. But he had 1 good season, and that is 60 games. And everybody is bowing down to Dominic Smith like he is the great player that we've been missing, and he's not. Can he avoid hitting a soft fly ball to the outfield? Because that's all he does. It sucks. It sucks because I think Dominic Smith, his defensive, well, again, the Mets are not going to play Dominic Smith at first base more than Pete Alonso. It's just not happening. So Dominic Smith is a waste in this roster right now. He is. Yeah, he can come late in games and be a defensive whiz. Sure. Now, there was a lot of people, and there's some people probably in the chat that did not want to trade Dominic Smith for Eric Hosmer and Paddock. And I believe there was a bullpen arm as well. I forgot his name. So you would have had 3 guys. Paddock has been mediocre. So I'm not going to go crazy about him. But Hosmer has been very good this year for the Padres. And nobody can say that we wouldn't have been better off with Hosmer than Dominic Smith. Because Hosmer is just as good defensively as Dominic Smith. So that's basically washes itself out. Offensively, you can't say that Dominic Smith is better than Hosmer because he's not. And again, will it have been a difference if Hosmer would have been on this team instead of Dominic Smith? Could the Mets have another win or two? I don't know. I mean, that's hard to judge. But with my eyes and with your eyes, Dominic Smith has been absolutely garbage this year, except for one game. And everybody's like, oh, he needs starting time. He needs to play. Okay. So why are you getting on J.D. Davis, who hasn't got playing time? But yet, when J.D. Davis finally gets an opportunity to get at bats a couple of games in a row, he's actually starting to see the ball and hitting the ball. And guess what? Davis actually hit the ball harder in one game than Dominic Smith has all season. So Dominic Smith needs to be on the bench. J.D. Davis needs to get the opportunity to be the everyday DH. I said this before the season started. J.D. Davis is perfect for the DH spot. Everybody forgets about 2019. No, I haven't apologized for Lindor. I haven't even got to him yet. And believe me, I will get to him. J.D. Davis in 2019 was one of our best offensive hitters in that lineup in 2019. He can bat 280 if he gets playing time. He can hit 20-plus home runs. He can knock in about 65 to 70 RBIs. He is that type of hitter. Everybody forgets. Dominic Smith hasn't done it in a full season yet. J.D. Davis has. But yet everybody wants Dominic Smith to play every day. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Give J.D. Davis the opportunity. Dominic Smith had more than enough time to win that job. He has not. Sit his ass down and put him in defensive replacement late in game. That's it. I don't want to see Dominic Smith in the lineup at all. Give J.D. Davis the opportunity. Can we talk about Dominic Smith again if J.D. Davis doesn't do the job? Absolutely. But that's when I start to think about Mark Vientos. Maybe even Ronnie Mauricio, who's both been hitting a little bit better. Vientos has been hitting better over the last couple of games in the minors. You know, maybe the Mets will put up Ronnie Mauricio. You never know. But I want to see Vientos in here sooner or later. If Dominic Smith or J.D. Davis don't get the job done, bring up Vientos. What's the worst that can happen? He can't hit worse than Dominic Smith or J.D. Davis if they're not hitting. He can't be worse. And Vientos is a third baseman. He can play first base. And he actually can play left field too. So, well, Ken, I don't want to go that far. Again, I know a lot of white people that love Dominic Smith just because Dom's a nice guy. Like, honestly. Ken, I don't like that kind of chat. But again, listen. It is what it is. Sooner or later, the Dom squad needs to look at the way it is. And just, they got to take off their Mets colored glasses and pay attention to what is the problem with Dominic Smith. Maybe Dominic Smith is just not a good offensive player. That's okay. If you need him to be a guy who comes in late in games for defensive purposes and maybe every now and then gets a start or comes in a spot late in games to be a pinch hitter. If, Nito's 0 for 4 and you want to pinch hit with a right-hander on the mound, fine. But don't put Dominic Smith on a pedestal when he does not deserve it. That's the biggest problem I have with Met fans. It's not to be negative about Dominic Smith. It's not a negative comment when it's a fact. Dominic Smith sucks this year. That's a fact. That's not being a negative Met fan. That's just common sense. The same thing with J.D. Davis, who I'm a big supporter of. If J.D. Davis, and you guys know this, if a player who Ken can tell you this on the chat. Who have I killed since this channel has started? Edwin Diaz. But I will be quick to give credit where credit is due. I always done that. I never try to hide my unrailing or my discomfort or my aggravation towards Edwin Diaz for what he did in the last couple of years. But there is no mistaking, and I'm not going to say, oh, I still don't trust Edwin Diaz. There might be a little bit in the back of my mind, but my eyes tell me something different right now. Edwin Diaz is dominant right now. His slider is nasty as it's ever been as a Met. He looks like Seattle Mariners Edwin Diaz. And if he's that, listen, he can put the foot in my mouth because he can shut me up. Jeff McNeil, the same thing. I'm not going to – listen, you guys know. I was very shocked that the Mets did not trade Jeff McNeil because I don't think that – now, what if it's the hidden philosophy with Eric Chavez, if Jeff McNeil just realized – if Jeff McNeil finally realized that he's not a power hitter, he's got to go back to what he was in 2018, 2019, 2020, then great. But I did not expect that. And he shut me up as well. Fine, I take it. I root for the laundry. I don't root for the player. So if they play better and they're the player that we thought they were going to be, or what they're supposed to be, I have nothing to say except giving them credit. But there's guys, you can be a fan and be critical of players. Yeah, but it's not a little hypocrisy, Ken. I've said that I think Jeff McNeil was going to struggle. I didn't think he was going to turn back to the player he was in 2019. And again, I don't want to talk about 2020, even though I just brought that year up. 2020 is a garbage year for me because Michael Conforto had the best year of his career in a 60-game season, along with Dominic Smith. But yet, people love Dominic Smith for some reason, right? 2018, when McNeil came up, excellent. 2019, excellent until the second half of the year when he decided to be, to be Ken Griffey Jr. and try to hit every ball out of the yard. His average dropped 30 points because he decided to hit home runs in the second half of the season when he could have probably won the batting title. That's it. Inebriated. How you doing, buddy? Sledge, how you doing? That's the issue. Look, I'm very happy McNeil went back to the way he was in 2018, 2019. Because if he wasn't, how bad would this offense be? He's been our hardest hitter almost the whole year. Good for Jeff McNeil. Good for Edwin Diaz. But let's stop giving credit where credit is not due. Dominic Smith, terrible. Stop giving him credit. J.D. Davis, if he doesn't perform, I will bash his ass too, even though I think he is a better DH hitter offensively than Dominic Smith. I think he's just a better DH than Dominic Smith. If I'm wrong, I bash his ass too. Eduardo Escobar, he was supposed to be the extra power behind Alonso. He has one home run this year. He has been garbage. He's another one that I'm going to continue to bash until he starts hitting. That's why the Mets got him. Not for just being a good clubhouse guy, right? Cano was a good clubhouse guy, but they got his ass out of here real quick because he didn't perform. Eduardo Escobar might be sitting on the bench a little bit more if he don't get his act together. And there's a time when Vientos better be up in this team and give him an opportunity. Because the front office and Steve Cohen has already shown, if you don't perform, we will replace you with somebody else who will get that opportunity, right? That's why Dominic Smith got the opportunity. The Mets trusted him. That's why they got rid of Cano. They trusted him. Hey, Dominic Smith probably just needs playing time. That's why. Well, he's still garbage. Sit his ass down. Now it's time for J.D. Davis to step up. The first game of the series against the Nets, he's hit every ball hard. He just hit it right at people. I think he got one hit in that game, but he hit every ball hard. Give J.D. Davis a chance to be the DH every day, even with the righty on the mound. Stop putting Dominic Smith in when he is not going to perform. It's ironic to me that Dominic Smith performed one time this year, and that was when his ass got that close to being sent down. I'm sorry. That's not the way to keep him in the lineup because he performed one time out of the first, 35 games of the year so far. So we got about 15, 20 minutes until game time, guys. I do see everybody's comments. I'm going to get to them really quick. I need to rant about that. And I'm going to get to Lindor for a second too. Because Lindor was good the first, 2 weeks of the season? He's another one where he just gets blown off the face of the earth. He'll have 2 or 3 games where you can't get him out, and then you'll have 4 or 5 games where he might get a hit here and there, but he'll strike out, with runners on. He won't manufacture a run. He won't move the runners over. He just looks lost at the plate. He's a very inconsistent. Can you call him a superstar? I mean, his contract says he's a superstar, right? But he's a very inconsistent player. He's an extremely streaky player. Guess what? Who is that one guy that the Mets had for a while? Michael Conforto, right? He reminds me of Michael Conforto. Like, seriously, he reminds me of Michael Conforto. But I think Michael Conforto has more power than Francisco Lindor. And that scares me about Francisco Lindor. He's not a guy, when he's hot, he's hot. When he's cold, he is absolutely cold. Like, he doesn't do anything productive. Not only has he's had a couple of mind blocks defensively as well, even though he made a nice play the other day. He has a couple errors this year. He's very streaky. He'll go 10 games where you can't get him out. 10 games where he just looks like a minor leaguer, basically. So, Sledge, his defense hasn't been that great. He still can't throw the ball to first base. Every now and then he'll put, like when he made that diving stop and made a strong throw to first. When it's a routine play, every ball is basically getting scooped by whoever's the first baseman that day. That scares me as well. The Mets are a good team, but they could be better. It's with this roster. They could be. With the guys that they have right now. I just don't know when everything's going to get put together all at once. You've seen teams like the Dodgers who, they lost 2 out of 3 against Pittsburgh. Fine. That happens. Oh, yeah, Ken, that was my spring training shirt in 2018, sorry. That was the 7-line out in spring training. So, you see teams like the Dodgers who put everything together. Offense, defense, pitching, starting and relief. The Yankees, the same thing. Offensively, the starters and the relief pitching, the bullpen, all came together. And that's why they went on that, 11-game winning streak? That's a sign of a team that can put everything together. This team is so different from last year that we don't know if they can put it all together with pitching and offense and bullpen. We don't know that because they haven't done it. When the Mets were winning early on, it really wasn't the offense. It was the pitching. When the pitching struggled a little bit, the offense came together. They haven't clicked with everything at once. We're still waiting for that. Everybody thought this series was going to be when the Mets were just going to roll over the Nationals and take care of business. They have not done that. And that's a little concerning, but not enough because it's very hard to completely bash a team that's in first place and a 6-game lead. But there is problems with this team. This team, if they don't bunch hits together, they're not scoring. Unless Alonso hits a home run. Because that's the guy that every time he's up at the plate, I'm like, okay, I can see him hitting a home run. Who can you say that about anybody else in this lineup? When Nimmo comes up, I expect him either to get a walk or a double. When Marte comes up, I expect him, he might push a bunt. He might, leg out a single with an infield single. Fine. Other guys, Escobar's going to be that power. He's been nothing. Francisco Lindor, I don't see him as a home run hitter. I see him as a gap-to-gap hitter who will hit a lot of doubles, but is not a guy who I expect him to hit 30 home runs. I just don't. Same thing with Mark Hanna. He is an on-base guy. That's what I expect him to do. And Ken, I understand the fact that Lindor has gotten some big RBIs, but those big RBIs were earlier in the season, very early in the season, like the first 2 weeks of the season. I mean, yeah, that was cool that he hit that 2-home run in Philly to get the momentum flowing a little bit. That was cool. That was great. But he scatters those. Like, most of those big RBIs were earlier in the year. So, yeah, it is everyone. But right now, he's not doing well. It's, take over a game. Can I see Lindor take over a game? I want him to see him, I'm not saying to hit 3 home runs like he did in the Subway Series last year, but he took over that game. He needs to take over, your talk. His persona, his name, Lindor, he is projected to be a superstar, right? He is the superstar. He is the face of this team based on his contract. He needs to put a team on his shoulder and be the face of that game. Take over the game. He'll make that great defensive play, but don't do anything else in the game. When he hit those 3 home runs against the Yankees, he took over that game. Emotionally, offensively, and defensively. He did. He doesn't take over games like superstars do. Aaron Judge takes over games. Mike Trout takes over a game, puts his name on his back. Lindor doesn't do that enough. And for the amount of money he's getting, he better start doing that a little bit more. No, it's not the point of, it's not a miserable thing, but individually you can critique players. Ken, you don't critique anybody. I can say to you, you get, put it this way, Ken, respectfully, you get on the people in the stream more than you get on the Mets. And you can critique a player when the team's playing well. That's okay. You're allowed to do that. It's called being a fan. That's the problem. I love you, Ken, but let's be honest. I can guarantee you Dodger fans are critiquing somebody right now, even though they're the best team in baseball. But, Ken, you disagreed about Dominic Smith. So why are you negative towards Dominic Smith then if this team is in first place? Like, you critique players as well. That's the problem with some Mets fans. You don't want to critique players because this team is in first place. The same reason last year when I got on, and a couple other people did too, not everybody, a couple other people got on the Mets. Everybody's like, oh, they're in first place. They're in first place. What happened? We talked about the 2-out RBIs that they could not get. They couldn't manufacture runs. And then all of a sudden, what happened? They completely fell apart. Injuries or not, they still had a big enough lead where they could have took care of business when the Braves were basically one nail away in their coffin for being out of the playoff race. It's just impossible to completely be happy with a team that has a couple of flaws. I wouldn't call it flaws. Escobar hasn't been good all year. That's a problem for the Mets. That was the extra power we needed in this lineup. Because we all talked about it. This team needs power. I think everybody can agree with that. No, they don't need to score 10 runs every game or sweep everybody. It's not the point. You have to critique a team that has issues. The Mets have issues. It's obvious. If you don't want to see it, that's fine. But when the Mets are starting to struggle, and it's obvious that they'll score 8 runs in one game, and then 3 games in a row, they'll score 3 runs or less. That's the problem. And you can call me negative. You can call me, listen, if you're not negative and you're a Mets fan, there's something wrong with you because you go through your whole life dealing with nonsense through this team. Again, this is the best team I've probably seen since probably 2016. I mean, the 2015 team, they made the World Series, but they weren't a great team, right? They just, all this thing got lucky pulling the string on Cespedes. But 2016, the Mets were pretty damn good. Their roster looked better. But I think this team is better than all those teams. But, okay, no. I don't judge by his contract. Everybody else does. I always expected, I went with Lindor. When they signed him, I'm like, everybody's got to relax on the contract. He is a 250, 260 hitter who can hit 20 to 25 home runs, 70, 80 RBIs. That is not a guy that has $341 million stats. He doesn't. He's not that type of player. So, Ken, I don't know what you're hearing, but the people who keep on saying, oh, well, he's not living up to his contract. He never will. He never will. It's obvious. It's never going to happen. I don't understand. Even his best year is not worth $341 million in Cleveland. It's just not. It's just not what Lindor is. He's not. You know, you can consider him a superstar. I don't. All-star player? Sure. A very good player? Sure. $341 million player? No. He never was that. The Mets got bent over a barrel because they traded for him on a rental year. That's why they felt the pressure to pay him that much. Because they would have looked really bad if they didn't sign him, giving up Rosario and Jimenez, and you don't have any shortstops except for Lindor. And if he would have walked away, okay, there was like 9 shortstops that the Mets could have got that following year. But Cohen wanted the splash. He thought Lindor was the splash. Can't blame him on that. TD, what's up? So, again, the Mets are in first place. The Mets are 6 games up. The best thing about this is that the Mets haven't been playing that good offensively, yet finding a big hit late in the game. That's been what they've been. It's basically their MO on this team. They wouldn't hit like this team from the 6th inning on probably has more runs throughout the year than inning 1 through 5. Yeah, Ken, but that doesn't mean you can't critique them. Like, I just don't understand. I'm happy with the team, too. No, there's things about this team that is a little worrisome. Is it possible that Escobar maybe is not in the slump? Maybe age is catching up to him? I don't know. So we talked about this. I don't want perfection. I'm not perfect. Why would I expect somebody else to be perfect? But you can see that Escobar hasn't played well all year, right? Dominic Smith has not been good all year except for 1 game. You're allowed to critique him. Even without Escobar playing well, the Mets are in first place and playing pretty well. If Escobar was hitting, who knows where this team would probably be 3 or 4 games better. Because Escobar came up in a ton of big spots, ton of RBI situations where he didn't get it done. So we're about 5 minutes away until game time. Look, I thought the best signing offensively with position players was Escobar when the Mets made their signings with Connor, Marte, and Escobar. I thought Escobar was going to be the best signing out of all. I was a little concerned about Marte giving 4 years at his age, but I mean, I thought Escobar was going to be the best one out of the pack. I mean, people know who I am. So, Ken, if you don't really know me, that's on you, not me. I'm a pessimistic Met fan who has been killed every single time. Again, I don't think this team is that. I think this team has too many veterans to let things happen like last year. You know, when you had too many prima donnas on this team. And, you know, everybody who wanted Baez. Have you seen Baez's numbers? He's already been injured this year. You see Baez's numbers? Relax on that. Stroman has pitched well. But again, the bigger issue with everything here is that this team hasn't gone on a long winning streak yet, even if it's 6, 7 games. They have not done that. Good teams do that at some point. Do I think this team is good? Absolutely. I am more confident now than I was in the beginning of the season about this Mets team winning the division, because I don't think the Braves have that leadership with Freeman that I think is going to hurt them later in the year. That's the thing that my mindset has changed with this team. But but you're not the only one who knows baseball. I know baseball, trust me. But just because you don't want to bash a player doesn't mean that I can't. And you notice, Ken, I talk my shit. And this is my channel. I say what I want to say. Just because you don't agree does not mean just because you know baseball, nobody else does. You can know baseball, But you're wrong for not bashing certain players. If you don't want to bash anybody, go on Wardy's channel, not mine. Yeah, he's supposed to take over a game. He's supposed to be the superstar on his team. He doesn't. Alonso has taken over more games than Lindor probably over the last 2 years. That's a problem. Like, if you expect Lindor just to be a guy that's part of the team, that's not fair to a guy like Alonso, who is making a few $1 million compared to a $28 million guy, $30 million guy. He has to be better. This team can improve, absolutely. That's what we agree on. That's what we agree on. They need to. They can improve. But will they? I freaking hope so, because then we're going to have a lot of problems. Because this team can't continue to play like this. Only bunching hits together, because that's how they win games most of the time. I think you can agree with that, Ken, right? This team bunch hits together. That's where they score their runs. I honestly think Escobar is going to be fine. Maybe I'm hoping more than expecting, but I do expect him. He's too much of a veteran. He knows his stuff. Like you were just, he wasn't, it is a new league, sure, but he was in the National League for a long time too, years ago. But again, Marte hasn't had a problem. He was with the Marlins last year, fine. But Marte hasn't really had much, even though Kana has been struggling a little bit, but Kana was bashing the ball around. Escobar hasn't done it all year. That's why it's concerning. And let me just put on 26. All right. But this team can improve. But you can say that about every team. This team can improve. Of course they can. Listen, if Escobar was scorching the ball or being one of the better players in this lineup, who knows where this team would be? This team might be even better than, might have the best record in baseball. You know what I'm saying? I already lost my hair. Too late for that, buddy. But, honestly, we all see this team can improve. But we all can see this is not a power-hitting team. We know that, which, that's fine. I don't need everybody in this lineup to hit 30 home runs. I don't think it works well in the playoffs. But when you got one guy in your lineup where any given moment when he comes up, he can hit the ball out of the yard, there's one guy on his team, and that's Pete Alonso. That's tough to worry, especially when the Mets, who this year, they have got behind a pretty decent amount this year. And if they don't bunch this together, they struggle to come back in games. I agree, Ken. He was totally tough. The people who wanted Baez, it just didn't make sense to me. And then you would have had to get rid of Jeff McNeil. How would that would have turned out so far for the Mets? Baez has been not good this year. McNeil has been great. The Mets might have lost a few other games. They might have lost that game the other night against Washington without Jeff McNeil. So it's tough. Yeah, Nicholas, I saw Robbie Cano to the Padres. Again, it's a win-win for the Padres. If he does well, he's only on the league minimum. So you're getting a good deal for the league minimum. If he sucks, you only paid him the league minimum. So it's not too much of a deal. So we got about 5 minutes until game time. Once again, guys, game day will be up, as well as Gary and Keith on the call today for the Mets. All righty. Hey, Bobby, let's go Mets. So once again, guys, I'm going to have the lineup for the Mets and the pitching matchup on the bottom of your screen right now. So it's down there if you need to look at it. Once again, it's Nimmo, Marte, Lindor, Alonso, McNeil batting fifth. Marcana, 6, 7, Davis, 8, Guillermo, and Nito's catching batting ninth. So the lineups are going to be scrolling on the bottom of your screen. The Mets are going to be ready just now. I'm going to raise up the volume, and we're ready to go. So let me make sure everybody can hear the TV call. Make sure you say it in the comments, guys, so I know. So here we go, guys. Mets versus Nationals rubber game.
Last night back in left field, which moves Jeff McNeil back to second. J.D. Davis will be the DH. Luis Guillorme gets a spot start at third with Escobar getting the day off, and that's the lineup. Mets will send out against 23-year-old Yoan Adon.
From the Dominican Republic, as we mentioned, you can look at his numbers. Lots of hits, lots of walks, lots of base runners. Look at the whip. Young, great arm, really should be in AAA, honing his skills, but they got him on the big league level here, and they're kind of throw him out there in the water because swim or sink or swim. And there's your SNY defense, Nationals defense.
But you can't bash, you cannot bash players. You know, you can bash players when the team is not good, but when the team is good, you can still bash players. I'm not bashing the entire team. I'm bashing certain players that need to be better. Because if they don't become better, this team is going to be a problem going forward. Because there will be struggles from other players when other guys who hasn't performed yet, if they still continue to perform bad, that's going to be a problem for the Mets. For sure. All right, guys. Here we go. Brandon Nimmo's leading off. Game 3 of the series. Here we go.
22-game on-base streak after 3 hits last night. He's also got a 7-game hitting streak. His on-base percentage up over 400 for the year. Doan's first pitch is a fastball below the knees for ball 1, and we're underway.
Well, Brandon, I've noticed he's choked up a lot. He's always choked up, but choking up a little more, and he's made such improvements against left-hand pitching. And I just see he's leveled off a lot more. And I think a lot of that has to do, Gary, with Eric Chavez, Buck Showalter, a hitting philosophy. You see McNeil leveling off more.
Well, Brandon had 3 hits last night, 2 of them to the left side, and yet the Nats persist in shifting against him and leaving the shortstop hole open.
Which I cannot understand. There's Buck, Forever Alert. Always an interesting pre-game interview with Buck with the press.
You know, one of the things that has transpired with the Mets this year, because they've been making good contact and putting the ball in play relentlessly, not striking out a lot, is that they have an inordinate number of infield hits. Now, part of that is the shifting, part of that is the contact. But the Mets have far more infield hits than any other team in baseball. 53 infield hits now after Marte's bunt hit last
What I like
night.
about this lineup or this roster in general, a lot more speed in the lineup.
In the majors.
That is stunning.
It is. 3-1 to Nimmo, and he fouls one away. A fastball from Adon at 94 miles an hour.
But if you put it in play, you got a chance. Anything could happen. If you strike out, you're just making a right-hand turn and going and getting some splinters over there on the bench.
Of course, the other piece about that, the infield hit total, is the Mets have a little more team speed than they've had in the past with the addition of Marte and Lindor putting the ball in play more. And Nimmo takes a walk, and that's how this game begins.
His streak continues.
And Adon, who came into the day 3rd in the National League and walks a lot, walks his 19th batter in 28 innings. Mets will be patient with him today. First time they faced him.
Ken, maybe on your end, not here though. The audio is fine.
It was that opening series of the year.
Might be on your end, buddy. But let me know if you can't hear it, guys. If everything is good, just let me know in the comments.
Their streak intact of not having lost a series this year.
His lone win was back on April 19th against the Arizona Diamondbacks, where he won 6 1/3, a scoreless ball, only walked 2.
Here's Marte, and he fouls off the first pitch, sinker, 0-1. Marte had the bunt hit yesterday, went 1 for 4. Still trying to find his way.
He has not gotten on track yet. I'm just waiting for him to get into a hot streak.
That's interesting, right? Mets last night got hit for 8 runs in the first 2 innings, and they have been outscored in the first 4, but have thrived in the last 5. False strike to Marte, and it's 0-2.
And the left is also indicative of the fact that they're jumping on bullpens, obviously, but come from behind wins as well.
Well, and the Mets have pitched well out of the bullpen. I think there's a perception that the Mets bullpen is a weakness for this team. I don't think that's the case. I think for the most part, the Mets bullpen has been very, very solid. 0-2 coming to Marte, and he waves a slider and misses. Or did he get a piece of it? Got a piece and stayed in the at-bat.
So Adon, as you can see right now, is a guy that you can get up off of him, and he can make you look sick in 3 straight pitches, or you can have an at-bat like Nimmo, where he's all over the place. Erratic would be the word.
Adon made 1 start for the Nats last year, came up and struck out 9 against the Red Sox and outdueled Chris Sale. That was his only big league start before this year. He This is away to Marte, 1-2. And if you talk
definitely got to make a down
folks in
work.
the Nationals organization and a lot of scouts,
10 pitches so far for a down.
100% sure that Adon's future is as a starter. I think that maybe he could be a multiple inning reliever, maybe even a closer down the road. That his stuff is that good. The question is going to be about his command. Nimmo at first, and Marte hits a double play ball or a liner right to the shortstop, and Strange Gordon picks it off for the first down.
That's the second time in this series. Last night, Marte in a big spot. The Mets had a late rally, hit a bullet right at the second baseman.
Yeah, hit the ball hard. Can't do nothing at that. Just hit it right at the shortstop.
Keep hitting the ball hard. Good things will happen.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
So 1 out and 1 on, and now Francisco Lindor and Alonso trying to attain a little knowledge out of Marte's at bat.
We see a lot of this conversation the first time through. Hitters are asking each other what the pitcher has, probably asking for movement. I like it.
Lindor took an 0 for last night after 2 hits in the opening game of the series.
He got off to the hot start, but he's cooled.
He fouls off the changeup, and it's 1-1.
Everybody's got a changeup, even the diamonds in the rough.
First 12 games for Lindor, 310, over 1,000 OPS. Last 20 games, 202, 542 OPS.
Usually the veterans, the changeup came as the pitcher became
it's not negative when it's fast.
More seasoned.
Curveball misses low and in, 2-1.
I agree, Ken, with that.
The balls and strikes today. Les Diaz is the crew chief. He's at first. Ryan Wills and Trip Gibson rounding out the crew.
There's Les.
Cloudy skies, 70 degrees. A little wind blowing out of the northeast. And Lindor takes.
Well, his base stealing has sucked because he hasn't been on base much.
Got to be patient against Adon.
Oh, yeah. I was surprised that Marte went up there and swung at the first pitch he saw. It was a strike. But I've always liked getting a measure of a pitcher in my first bet.
Nimmo at first with 1 out. And Lindor fouls off the fastball. It's 3-2. Adon's last start was in Anaheim on Friday. He walked 5 in 5 innings in that game. He gave up just 3 hits over 5 innings, but lost the game 3-0.
He's one of those guys.
Not worried yet, Gio. Not worried yet. He's a veteran. I think he'll bounce back. Let's hope he does.
Getaway day. Guess what? It's the Mets getaway day.
Let's see if Nimmo's running 3-2, 1 out. He's going. Lindor cracks 1 foul. So Nimmo was on the move, and Lindor got ahead of a fastball and pulled the foul.
Yeah, ATL. Pitching's going to be fine on this team.
6'2",
That's why we've been in a lot of games.
He is.
You know, you're going to have a performance like yesterday. It's just what happens in baseball. Not surprised. It just, it's like, ooh, 8 runs in the first. Ouch. That's a tough way to go.
Nimmo runs. The pitch is down.
All right, 2 men on, 1 out.
Now 2 men on. So 2 walks to the first 3 batters. And Alonso will come up with a couple.
Now, that was a better at-bat by Lindor there. Wasn't forcing the issue. Wasn't swinging at bad pitches. That's a good start. So let's see if Alonso can stay hot.
The second game at Philly Sunday, another home run last night. Leads the National League in RBIs with 28. 1 behind C.J. Cron for the lead in the home runs.
Yeah, I have to say that Pete is coming into his own. It's nice to see.
He's having a marvelous first third of the season. And he loves hitting here. He's got the highest slugging percentage and the highest OPS of any player in the history of Nationals Park, home or visitor. And he takes a curveball outside for ball 1. First inning last night, and he struck against Aaron Sanchez.
He sure did there. That was a bomb.
Alonso hits one softly foul. It's a ball and a strike.
When I say Pete's coming into his own, I mean, you recall he had that kind of rough.
Well, Ken, it wasn't a 3-run homer. It was a 2-run homer yesterday.
Which I think is a normal, I believe in sophomore jinx. Then every year, third year, now the fourth.
But I'll take a 3-run homer.
And better and better and becoming a much
better I can't stand Chaney. So I actually called him out on Twitter yesterday when he talked about Tyler McGill.
The year was unbelievable, off the charts.
Right.
But he had to prove himself, right? The pitchers pitched him differently now.
And it's, you got expectations on that second year. You come up as a rookie, nothing's expected of you, and you can have that kind of year.
Exactly.
Where everything just really
durability.
I mean, he hit 52 home runs. That's not an easy thing to do.
53, in fact.
53, excuse me.
And he went around on the half swing as 2-2.
I don't know. We went around on that. Jeez.
Alonso, the most recent Met Rookie of the Year.
I don't want to see Alonso get power happy, though, because when he does that, he starts to pull off the ball a little bit. He needs to stay leveled a little bit here.
That's royalty right there. Nemo at second, Lindor at first. Excellent speed on the bases. 2-2 to Alonso with 1 out. And Pete gets another curveball out.
You can tell Pete's on right now. He usually swings at that slider outside and low. He didn't.
Pete keeps spitting on.
Good eye.
Jeff McNeil's hitting 5th in the order today. That just puts McNeil in a different spot.
Let's go, Pete.
He's hitting 6 different spots in the order. Batting 5th for the second time. We'll provide a little backup for Alonso.
I keep an eye on Adon's front shoulder, that his left shoulder. I think when he throws the breaking ball, he lifts it higher than when he throws his fastball. And keep an eye on that.
And he strikes out Alonso with a fastball. So after all those
that wasn't a good pitch, but Alonso just swung over it.
And that's the second out.
That was right down the middle, inside. Wheelhouse.
Well, fastball in, good spot. And that's what I'm saying about a guy like Adon.
I think Alonso was looking for
because he doesn't know where it's going.
A breaking ball there. He got a fastball. A little late on that fastball.
Inside, and he may throw it outside. And as a hitter, you can't see where the catcher's setting up. So you really have to go up against a guy like this.
Exactly, Ken. When Pete's not chasing, you know he's on at the plate. Again, strikeouts happen, but he just missed that pitch. That pitch is right in his wheelhouse.
There's McNeil with 2 out and 2 on. Jeff starts today 4th in the National League and batting at .330, 8th in the league and on base percentage at .395. Adon 25 pitches deep into this opening inning, couple of walks and a strikeout. And now McNeil takes a curveball outside, and it's 1-1. Adon getting a chance in the starting rotation for the Nationals with Strasburg on the sidelines and Joe Ross on the sidelines and Anibal Sanchez unavailable. 60% of the rotation hurt. So it's given a chance to folks like Aaron Sanchez last night and Adon today. Changeup misses to McNeil, and it's 2-1.
So here we go.
They're going to have to live with growing pains with a kid like this.
He really, ought to be in AAA. He's 27 pitches. In the first inning, he's going to have close to 30, maybe 30.
I mean, last year he started the year in Single A. That's how far he's come quickly. 2-1 to McNeil, and Jeff spits on one, and it's low, and it's 3-1. Marcana's on deck. Adon has now walked 20 batters in 29 innings, and obviously that's not sustainable.
Well, that's good for the Mets.
This has got to be a good pitch to hit right here. Just 0 in on a fastball.
.3-1 coming, and McNeil fouls off the fastball. That's 3 times in this inning that Adon has fallen behind 3-1, and each time he's come with a 3-1 fastball and gotten a foul ball.
And it's not like he's throwing 99, 90, 100 miles an hour, 97, 98. He's around 95, 94.
He's got some good sink. Ball's moving. So now the runners will be in motion. Nimmo and Lindor get set to take off. 3-2 coming to McNeil, and he walked him.
All right, bases loaded. Here we go.
So 3 walks in the opening inning for Yohan Adon. He'll get a visit from the pitching coach, Jim Hickey. And Mark
Make him work.
Will get an opportunity with the bases loaded and 2 out.
JD, thank you for the super sticker, buddy. Appreciate that. That's a big one right there, guys. So really appreciate that. Shout out to JD right there. Saying "Let's go Mets" with the Yankee logo. I like that. With his, that's cool though. But thank you, JD. I appreciate that a lot. See if the Mets can get that 2-out RBI that we've been getting all year.
You got great stuff. Throw strikes.
I think
Once again, JD DeLuna, appreciate that a lot, buddy. Thank you.
These meetings and different pitching coaches are different. Mel, I don't think was before. Mel Stottlemyre wasn't so much mechanics. Hub Kittle was our pitching coach in St. Louis. I remember Bob Forrest one time complained to me and said, "Gosh, I just wish the Hub would come out."
All right, let's go, guys. Let's get a 2-out RBI here. Connor was really hot with 2 outs. We're runners in score position with 2 outs. So let's see if we can do it again. Base hit should score 2 here.
One of a not small number of Mets who are struggling to get hits right now. Chance here with the bases loaded and 2 out. And
swinging at the first pitch.
One foul.
Whoa.
That's a good strategy sometimes after the pitching coach comes out. Look for that first pitch fastball.
That would have been a ball, but I'm not mad at that.
Plate should be 1-0.
But that was a ball.
His batting average for the first time this year has fallen below 300. He's at 291.
And he's not getting anything over with any consistency. So you can, if throws a breaking ball, you can take it. This kind of guy, you just sit on a fastball.
And that curveball sits high, and it's 1-1. 32 pitches already in the opening inning for Adone. Last night we saw Tyler Mcgill for the Mets throw 38 in the first inning. That's lined over short.
Yes, that's 2 runs. There we go. Yes. Big 2-out hit by Marcano. 2-0 Mets. There we go.
With his 10th and 11th runs batted in, and it's 2-0 New York.
Well, you get those men on base.
Connor has been really good this year with 2 outs.
Played a little bit too.
All right, JD, that's cool, man.
Kind of brings his hands in
Keith's
and
great.
muscles it out over the shortstop.
Nice 2-out. Connor has been probably our best hitter with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
So Connor snaps an 0-for-10 stretch.
Good.
Makes Adone pay for some of those bases on balls, and now J.D. Davis, who has swung the bat very well in this series. Flied out as a pinch hitter last night after starting the first game. And going 1 for 3. And J.D. goes after a first pitch fastball.
Angel, remember talking about Ramirez. Here we go, guys.
Young pitchers organizations often have pretty strict rules.
What's up, A-Money? How you doing? Sorry, we're going to take that W today for sure.
Nobody up as yet in the Nationals.
Let's leave no doubt today. I would like a big win here.
Despite the very high pitch count.
I just don't see what purpose it serves if he's struggling like this.
That goes to the backstop. It caroms out quickly, though, and McNeil can't score. Wow.
That's terrible.
Down to second goes Canna on a very wild pitch by Adone. So wild that it came right back off the concrete and back into their territory.
That's hard to judge on third base there. That ball hit the stone and bounced right back.
Right out of Bull Durham right there.
McNeil wisely holding up as that ball was carrying back to the pitcher. So now 2 are in scoring position on the wild pitch.
No, he couldn't score. Nothing you can do. It's a wise decision.
1-1 to Davis. And JD takes a curveball well out of the strike zone. He has not been able to throw that curveball anywhere near a strike.
Can I beg the question here? Are you
65 runs scored with 2 outs this season, second in the NL. Mets have been good with 2 outs.
And the way he's pitched, and obviously
Marcana got the second, by the way, so it's second and third with 2 outs. Base hit here can score 2 again.
Been like this, I don't see the purpose.
Grounded down to third behind the
Can be a tough play.
Makes the long throw on target to get Davis. That retires the side, but the Mets can.
All right, guys. Mets scored 2 runs with a 2-out RBI from Marcana with 2 outs. So nice to see the Mets still continuing to hit well with 2 outs. Once again, JD, thank you so much for the super sticker, buddy. I really do appreciate it. So Mets lead 2-0 going to the bottom of the first. Let's hope this time that our pitcher doesn't give up the lead early again. But we should definitely give a little credit where credit is due. Connor has been struggling 0 for 10, as you heard Gary say. Connor has been 0 for 10, and nice to see him break out. He got jammed a little bit, but it's strong enough to get it over the shortstop's head to get the base hit for 2 runs. So, again, a couple of walks in the inning. Again, nice, good eye by Lindor, good eye by Pete Alonso. Again, you know when Alonso is on, when he's not swinging at that terrible slider outside. He's been taking that pitch, which is really nice to see. Also, Lindor as well. He's been struggling, but he worked that walk and was able to get Alonso up and then to get McNeil up and then get Connor up. So good start for the Mets. Again, that was the same thing I said yesterday, watching the game 3-0 going into the bottom of the first. But things can change quickly. But I think Taijuan Walker is going to pitch a good game today. Give me 5 or 6 innings from Walker, and I think we'll be okay. But you don't like losing series to teams that are not good, especially in your division. So here we go, guys. Bottom of the second, Mets lead 2-0. Taijuan Walker on the mound.
And there's Walker's numbers. You know, we had the injury, missed around 3 weeks, a lot of April, I should say. All 3 starts against the Phillies. His last start was victimized by the defense. The error by Lindor kind of opened the floodgates. So he's looking to right the ship.
And Taijuan has been sitting in the dugout for, I don't know, 25, maybe close to 30 minutes since he came in from the bullpen, watching a 37-pitch top of the first. So we'll see what impact that has on him. The rough first inning in Philadelphia his last time out a week ago. Cesar Hernandez, 3 hits last night. Takes the first pitch up and in for ball 1. Hernandez really hot with the bat right now, hitting .353 over the last 16 games. Iorme at third in on the grass against Cesar Hernandez. Pops one up in foul ground, and that'll sail out of play. A ball and strike. Must be refreshing for Taijuan Walker to face some team other than the Phillies.
I don't think it was dirty, Joe, but
two-inning start his first
I loved
time
it.
out in Philadelphia. Then he had bursitis in his shoulder. And his next 2 starts, 1 good, 1 bad against the Phillies. And tied to Hernandez 2-1. Soto and Bell to follow. Nationals have been hitting. There's a splitter for a strike, and it's 2-2. That scored 8 runs in the first 2 innings last night against Tyler Mcgill. And the slider
Yeah.
go.
I don't think he went, but the umpire said he did. First strikeout of the game for Walker, first at batter. Good start.
That's the first out.
And the Lexus Metropolitan defense, Nito behind the plate. Again, 2 days in a row. McCann, a little bit of a achy glove hand. Nothing serious. Just another day to let him heal. And then, of course, Canna back in left field got the big hit in the first inning.
McCann had a wrap on his left wrist in the clubhouse today. Said he'll be good to go tomorrow night to catch Max Scherzer in the opener of the homestand. Juan Soto stops the swing, and it's 1-0. Soto hit a 2-run homer last night, his 7th of the year, his first with a man on base. 7 home runs, 10 RBIs for Soto. And he takes a cutter on the inside corner for a strike, and it's 1-1. He made 2 starts against the Nats last year, his first of this season. And fastball up and away to Soto, 2-1. Josh Bell waiting on deck. Taijuan going with the high Sox this afternoon. Fires a splitter in for a strike, and it's 2-2. Hits one right behind second base, which is where Lindor is playing. And that's the second out. So Walker retires Soto on a ground ball, 2-1. Now they'll bring up Josh Bell with the bases empty. I want to do a little strolling, a little stretching. You mentioned sitting in the dugout for a half an hour after warming up. Don't know if that's an issue for him. He's got the bursitis that felled him for a few weeks earlier this season. So maybe just trying to get loose. Here's Josh Bell, 3 for 7 in this series. Bell's hitting over 400 as a left-hand batter this year, just off to a phenomenal start.
406 to be precise. There's a lot of communication in that mid dugout.
Lined over short. That's base hit.
Josh Bell is absolutely scorching everybody.
Does it effectively again. Just can't get him out right now.
Well, Steve mentioned, Steve Gells, of course, our trusty sideline reporter, Steven. He mentioned yesterday that Bell mentioned he stopped swinging for the home runs. And results are showing with the batting average.
So that's a 2-out base runner. Here's
well, hopefully it's just a little tight.
Very long home run last night. A 3-run shot against Mcgill. And slider off the plate for Walker, ball 1.
Cruz, at his age, is having a hard time catching up to a good fastball, and Mcgill threw him a changeup and allowed him to get that, to catch up to it. Boy, he hit it a mile.
And he drives this one to left, but that'll stay up for Canna, and then retires the side. A bullet off the bat of Cruz. And Canna's there to make the play and get Walker.
All right, so that was he hit that ball hard, but right at Canna to end the inning. Let's hope Taijuan Walker is okay. He was walking around. Looked like he's trying to stretch a little bit. Again, he had that bursitis that caused him to miss a couple of weeks. But let's hope Taijuan Walker's okay. He can't afford to lose a pitcher after 1 inning, because then we really got to use that bullpen again. And Negotic and Williams is probably not available today, so we'd have to go really deep into our bullpen. But let's hope. His velocity was a little bit down, but the last at bat, he did throw a ball 95 miles an hour, so I'm not too worried about that. Because, you know, Walker is a 94, 95 miles an hour pitcher. Again, last year, in the first half of last year, he was throwing 96, 97. But I think that's because he hasn't pitched for so long that his arm was just good as new. But Walker could be fine with 94, 95 miles an hour fastball. As long as his breaking ball goes over for strikes, he should be okay. Locate his fastball, he should be okay. So it didn't look like it was a major issue. He wasn't like wincing or anything like that. It just seemed like he was a little tight. Again, he waited almost, a half hour for that top of the first to go to finish up. So, you know, sitting in the dugout waiting after you just warmed up could actually, you know, have you tighten up a little bit. You know, it could not be an arm. It could just be, you know, maybe a back, you know, hamstring, something that, you know, just got tight while he was waiting around. So going to the top of the second, Mets lead 2-0 off of Mark Canha, 2-out RBI in the top of the first. The Mets will have up, let's see, who's up? Guillermo, Nito, and Nimmo. So we're already turning around the order in the top of the second, which is always a good sign. We made Adon work in the first. I expect the Mets to continue to do that. Get him out early, beat him up, and get him out early, and get to the Nationals bullpen. That was good yesterday, but I just think the Mets just, you know, had issues just hitting in general. So, all right, guys, here we go. Top of the second, Luis Guillermo up. 2-0 Mets.
Didn't know until right before he was about to throw a pitch. Now he does. Guillermo getting the start at third base today, giving Escobar a day off. Don picks up
Joe, no, I was not.
First inning, missing badly and falling behind 2-0.
Let's hope it's not an issue, though. Hopefully.
2 with a base hit.
Well, he's looking at the video. He's going downstairs, so that's not good.
So Walker briefly gets some attention from a trainer in the dugout and then go down the tunnel.
Let's hope he's not out of the game.
And so Guillorme draws a first.
Kendrick JD 100% right now.
Walk to start the second inning. That's 4 walks in the first 8 batters for Adon. Mets lead the league in on-base percentage. That's probably the most important figure that's not in that graphic. Also first in batting average, first in getting hit by pitches.
Mets are 4.47 runs per game, 50 in the NL.
Per game.
Tied 10th in home runs in the NL.
Mets are being very patient with Yohan Adon, which is what the scouting report tells you to do. Now here's Nito, who's very rarely patient, and he's up there to bunt, and he takes a strike. Nito starting day game after a night game, went 0 for 3 last night with McCann's wrist a little sore. Nito getting the double duty. He's drawn Franco in on the grass at third. And now set to swing, and the curveball well out of the strike zone, 1-1. Has he thrown a curve anywhere near the strike zone yet?
No. He's either thrown it way wide or way hanging. It's just, this is painful to watch.
It's a hard way to roll. It started to get warm-up action going in the first inning, and they might have to do it again. I mean, if Nito draws a walk,
so there's no talk on the broadcast about somebody warming up in the Mets bullpen, so it looks like Walker should be okay. Maybe he's just stretching out something with the trainer.
And he'd strike out 15 a game and then walk 9. A little different animal. Nito fouls back high fastball.
No, they are doing something right. But a lot of those stats are because they bunch, when they bunch a lot of hits together, that's what their average has been fine. That's not the issue. So if they're not bunching hits together, they're not scoring. You know, getting a couple of walks, manufacturing runs, that's what they do well. That's why their run per game is so high still.
But the Angels, they dedicated themselves to living through it, and he'd have those 200-pitch games, and they just let him roll. And Nito strikes out on the curveball, so there's an effective curve by Adon. He picks up his second strikeout. Not a strike, but it was effective. Yes. It was a strikeout. There you go. Here's Nolan. So those were his numbers with the Mets. 74 starts. They also used him out of the bullpen.
Angel, that's a good call,
never really
actually.
Gave him a chance to pitch every
he hasn't had a lot of power this year. He's been hitting for average, for sure. But,
that's the way it was.
Josh Bell, even Nelson Cruz, if he starts hitting with power, even though he looks like he can't hit a fastball anymore, but you never know. There's a lot of guys that we can look at. I'll probably do a video probably in June about what players, power bats that could be available for the Mets going forward.
5,714 strikeouts. Look at that ERA.
Yeah, Joseph, we talked about it.
Where was he in 81? Was he in Houston? No, he had to be in the American League.
No, 81 he was with Houston. He had a losing record, but had led the league in ERA. Is that year? Because he had 1 year he led the league in ERA, but he was like had to lead it 6-12 or something. I faced him many times.
I don't know if the Mets want to bring up Alvarez. Honestly, I don't think so. I mean, there's no guarantee that Alvarez is going to hit for power in the big leagues. We don't know that. Just because he does it in the minors doesn't mean he's going to do it in the pros. Because, the major league pitchers are better than minor league pitchers. They will adjust to how he hits. So you just never know. There's no guarantee he will be that power bat.
It's like DeGrom. Outside 3-1 to Demo. He's not going to help out Adon at all with his strike zone. Good Lord. Yeah, so those were the 2 years.
You don't want to mess with Alvarez. You don't want to do that right now. That's why you could see Vientos coming up at some point, who did hit for power last year. Maybe give him a shot. You got to give those type of guys a shot before you make a big trade for a big bat.
And it takes another walk.
All right, another walk.
10 batters, 5 walks now for Yohan Adon. And that's going to get the bullpen stirring again for the Nationals. Erasmo Ramirez began to loosen up in the first inning.
Yeah, so I don't think Alvarez is going to get rushed here. There's no point.
So the Mets with a chance.
And I don't even know if Beatty gets called up either. Again, you got to play these guys every day.
MLB ballpark.
You know, you can't make them sit down for 3-4 days in a row when they're used to playing every day. You can't do that.
Much more down the MLB ballpark app today.
Like I said, you could see Vientos, maybe Mauricio are the two guys you might see up first. That would be on the offensive side being called up. Those are the only two guys I can see that can be called up. Just Mauricio, more likely Vientos than Mauricio, but picking two, Mauricio and Vientos are the two guys you might see get called up.
Curveball misses down, and it's 1-1.
He does lift that front shoulder, particularly against, not so much against to the left-hand hitters, but to the right-hand hitters, because he wants to get on top and get more down break. He lifts that front shoulder, and when he throws his fastball, it doesn't lift as much. It's more parallel to the ground, and that is Western Union for a hitter.
Is that something you guys can see from the bench?
No, but you can see from the plate.
You know, Keith's saying that he's technically tipping his pitches. When he throws a fastball, he drops his shoulder. When he throws a breaking ball, he leaves it parallel. But the Mets haven't hit a fastball yet. They've been swinging and missing, so clearly they're not seeing that. At least I don't think. If Keith can see it and the players have not yet, Plummer's another option too.
No one's perfect, Garrett.
No, I wasn't expecting perfection. Door waiting on deck.
Fastball. Nobody threw a curve.
Nice grab at third by Franco. The throw across the diamond for the double play, and that gets
can't do nothing about that.
Through the top of the second.
Well, Marte hit it hard, but right at Franco for the double play. Step on third, throw it to first. 5-5-3 double play, and the Mets still lead 2-0 going to the bottom of the second. Again, guys, when it comes to, you know, we're talking about big bats and power bats for this lineup. Don't look at the trade market yet. Nobody's trading anybody yet until at least the end of June or the middle of June into the trade deadline. Not looking at that, but you have to look at guys that are in the minor league system. You know, Vientos, Khalil Lee, Mauricio, guys like who else can I think of right now? You know, Plummer, those type of guys. Those are the guys the Mets are going to look at first before you're going to look at trade candidates. No, I don't care if you're the worst. You know, maybe a team like the Reds that might be willing to trade people now, but who do you really want in that lineup? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, a Moustakas, so at this point, you got to look at within. And there's a couple of guys. You know, look, again, if Dominic Smith and J.D. Davis is not doing the job, one of those guys are going to get sent down for somebody else at some point. You know, I don't think the Orioles are going to trade Trey Mancini. I mean, that's a guy. You know, you got to look at, you know, the guys on the Pirates, the guys on the Royals, Cleveland, teams like that. But at this point, you know, maybe the Nationals. I don't know if the Nationals would trade with the Mets. I don't know. But we'll see. But it's hard to look at trade scenarios now when every team still thinks they're in it except for the Reds. So I think there's going to be earlier trade movement, earlier than we normally see it because of that extra team that's going to make the playoffs. That means more teams are ready to go, still in the playoff hunt. But, all right, here we go, guys. Bottom of the second, 2-0 Mets.
Trouble getting loose in the first inning. Back out there for the second to face Hernandez, who's 1 for 7 in this series. And that fastball misses a shade low, and it's 2-0. Hernandez, then Caber Ruiz and Mcgill Franco against Walker. You see him still manipulating
Yes, it's just like
back and
he's
shoulder.
like he's tight. Physically.
One time Sandy Koufax was doing similar things out of the mound, and Vince Scully said on the air, I keep telling Sandy.
No, that's true, Joe, but I don't know if it's the same right now. The Nats know they're not going anywhere. The Nats are still in that middle of the pack type of scenario when Scherzer was getting traded. You know, when you're competing still in the division, you know, the Nats are not competing this year. They might try to get the best deal no matter who it is. So.
That was back in the day when you didn't have those home broadcasts, right?
Well, it was also at the Coliseum where people could be, you know, 6 miles from the field, grounded on the right side, and McGill shuffles over to get it and throws out Hernandez one away. You know, it got 93,000 seats at the LA Coliseum, and it was ill-configured for baseball when the Dodgers first moved out.
How many years they played there?
They played there 58 through 61, so 4 years.
And the 59 was the World Series. They beat the White Sox.
Against the White Sox. Right? They moved to Dodger Stadium in 62.
And that would have been when the Mets came into being and the Astros.
Colt 45s.
Colt 45s, you're right.
It's Gabriel Ruiz, and he takes a first pitch curveball. So first pitch curve to each of the first two hitters from Walker in this.
That might be a possibility too. You never know. Brian Reynolds is interesting.
And he fouls off.
Once again, guys, we got 150 people in the stream right now. Only 59 likes. Let's get those likes up. If you haven't hit that like button yet, hit on that like button, guys. Let's let more subscribers know that the stream is on right now, guys. Let's go.
Only 19 at bats.
One guy on the left side, and that's Guillorme. And he throws out Ruiz.
Walker's getting ground balls. That's when he's on. Getting them ground balls.
Walker's gotten ground balls for the first two hitters of the second. So 2 on that Michael Franco.
Michael, what's up?
1 for 6 in this series.
Nema has improved very well.
Franco's been a nice surprise in the early season for the Nats after a dreadful season at Baltimore last year.
And you remember the opening series, Gare, here back in the first week of April. He got off
2-0 Mets, Michael.
This Walker last year, all-star in the first half, and could not get out of his own way in the second half.
All started in that game in Pittsburgh, Gare,
when he swept the ball foul and 3 runs scored. Well, that was the four-seam fastball before and after the All-Star break. And they just hammered it after the break. Popped it up on the
Should
right
be out of the
side.
inning here.
Alonso into foul ground. Plenty of room. And
all right, nice solid inning by Walker.
1-2-3.
All right, guys, 1-2-3 inning from Walker. Looking like it's okay. Again, I think he was just a little tight from sitting in the dugout with that long first inning. So nice to see Walker is looking good so far. When he gets ground balls, he is extremely effective. And that's how you know he's on right now, getting those ground balls. And that's exactly what he's doing right now. So nice first 2 innings for Walker. Let's see if the Mets can score some more runs for him. And keep it going with the offense. Get that offense rolling. Yeah, I don't know what the Mets. You know, look, at this moment, I'm not worried about trades because it's kind of pointless at this point. Because the Orioles, the Pirates, they're not trading anybody right now. You know, the end of May, you might hear a little bit of rumblings of who might be on the trade block, but right now it's nothing's gonna happen. You know, yeah, you might hear of a small deal, you know, like somebody who's like the 25th man on the roster getting traded or something like that, or 26th man on the roster, nothing crazy. So, but you're not going to hear anything big right now. It doesn't make sense for any team to do that right now, unless teams have been talking all this time and it makes sense for both teams, which is still really just not it right now. You know, the only thing you look at now is within in your minor league system, who can help out this team if somebody else is struggling on the roster. Exactly what the Mets have been doing with this bullpen, right? Guys coming up, guys going down, Mcgill, guys like that. So that's what we're going to see right now at the moment. All right, guys. So we're gonna be heading to the top of the third, 2-0 Mets. The Mets will have up Lindor, Alonso, McNeil. So here we go, guys. Top of the third, Mets lead 2-0. Don't forget to hit on that like button, guys. Let's go. We had 187 likes last stream. Let's see if we can get close to 200 here.
Right to the Washington Monument.
All right, what's up, buddy?
Is no cement.
So the majesty of our nation's capital.
There's no mortar on that Washington Monument. It's the weight of the whatever is it, limestone. The limestone that there's no cement or mortar.
Lindor flies one into shallow.
That might drop.
Center, and on comes Hernandez to
Oh,
running ground.
that was close.
Hernandez had a long way to come. Lane Thomas, the center fielder, wasn't going to get anywhere near it.
Joseph, nope. I didn't get no copyright on the TV audio. I think when it comes to the commercials, I have to mute it. But other than that, nothing yet. So that's good. I'm happy about that.
Very good. Snakes had that, right? And
I was thinking 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Really? What are you doing now?
Alonso struck out his first time up. So, but if there's no base, how come it doesn't topple over in a...
Well, there's got to be a base.
It's called striking.
It's been there forever. So we mentioned
since 1888 it was finished.
But 1888 was the end
Lost
of
the
the
What's up,
first
buddy?
administration of Grover Cleveland when they finished it. Our only president.
Yeah, Joe, I saw that.
22nd
Interesting matchup.
Our only president that took 2 terms not in a row.
Do you know who the president was in between?
Benjamin Harrison.
Very good. Who was the great-grandson of William Henry Harrison, who was president for only 30 days. Because he caught pneumonia while making his inauguration speech on a cold March
That's
day.
awesome, Joseph.
That's right, when they used to.
I lost the buy. This is one of my favorite hats.
That's right.
2-2 to Alonso. And Pete hits one on the ground is short. Strange Gordon comes up with it. And there are 2 out. So Yolanda Doan finds that throwing strikes.
Therefore, it's actually gray.
And he's retired the first 2 batters in the third.
Well, I'm sure he's trying.
After walking 5 batters in the first 2 innings, fortunate to be down only 2-0. He's only given up the 1 hit to Canna with the bases loaded that brought in the 2 runs. Here's McGill, who drew one of those walks in the first inning.
It's all right.
Mets are trying to make it 10 straight series without a series loss to start the season. You know that the 1946 Red Sox went 20 series into the season without losing one?
Really?
Yeah.
Did they win the league?
Well, they did. And then Pesky held the ball down the left field line out of play, and they lost to the Cardinals in the World Series in 1946.
Is that the famous hit and run?
It's Slaughter.
The famous Harry Walker. Harry Walker was the batter. And scored on first on a hit and run.
Because the famous story in Boston was that Johnny Pesky was surprised that Slaughter was trying to score. That's drilled to right and held the ball an extra beat and didn't put home in time. Hard hit ball by Mcgill.
All right, guys. So 1, 2, 3 inning for the Mets. Taijuan Walker has a wrap around his back right now. It's all the way around, so it's clearly trying to probably put heat on it to stretch him out. It's probably really tight right now, so it's definitely a back issue right now because he was wrapped up and it looks like a heating pad on the back. So that's a little worrisome for us. He's still pitching, so I guess he can deal with it. I agree with that, BX. The Mets grays are awesome with the blue and orange. Pretty nice. But once again, guys, 1, 2, 3 in for the Mets going to the bottom of the third. Mets still lead 2-0. Again, Mets are leading 2-0. You know, they gotta attack on runs here. You don't want to leave a team like this who got some power in their lineup close, because they can come back in this game. Yeah, I'm a little worried about that with Taijuan Walker. He's clearly having a hard time stretching or getting his back loosened up. Not good to see. I mean, we've all had, you know, back pain or tightness in the back. You know, waking up one day, you slept wrong. You know, at this point, I don't know what it is, but, you know, it could have been, you know, him waiting a while for that first inning to end, and his back tightened up on him, but clearly he's having a back issue right now. So, but let's hope it doesn't affect him. It hasn't affected him so far on the mound, so let's hope it continues to not affect him. But as you know, everybody had a back issue before. If, you know, your back is tight, it's very hard to loosen that back up, and, you know, it can easily, you know, debilitate you really quickly, especially if you're throwing on a mound 90+ miles an hour. So, but so far Walker is fighting through it, which is nice to see. But you also don't want to, you know, make him get injured because he's trying to loosen up his back. All right, guys. So bottom of the third, 2-0 Mets. Walker is still on the mound. Let's see if he's okay.
The third. Gordon 2 for 7 in the series. Yorme on the grass at third. Walker moves him back.
I think I agree with that, Todd. I don't think the Mets really have much of an option.
Between innings with what looked like heat strapped to his back, which is not all that shocking because we've seen him trying to get loose these first couple of innings, doing some bends from the waist, manipulating his shoulders, as though maybe his back is bothering him a little bit. See, he just did it again. Just trying to get himself loose. So far, the results have been fine. So he gets a splitter in for a strike, and it's 2-2. Lane Thomas on deck, and then Cesar Hernandez.
Leave Beatty in the minors, Michael. Not right now.
You know that if anything is ailing Taijuan, they're keeping a close eye on him to make sure that it doesn't exacerbate it by pitching. So far, that doesn't seem to be an issue.
It's interesting. Walker has hardly any motion. It's almost like he's looking in from a stretch. As a hitter, you got to be ready to swing.
Right.
He's got a quick delivery home.
Slapped on the ground.
Got to be a quick throw here.
Guns down the
nice play,
One away. That's 4 straight ground ball outs for Taijuan Walker.
Yeah, JD, I try to do that.
Those are the numbers again for Walker since the All-Star break last year in his 4-seam fastball. My question is, you know, the first half of last year, he threw a lot of sinkers, a lot of 2-seam fastballs, and he really got away from that the second half and really hasn't thrown it much early this season either. Lane Thomas.
He is throwing 95, though. He is breathing heavy. That's true.
Games of the series. And went 0 for 6.
And, you know, when your back hurts, it can, you know, affect your breathing sometimes, too. So maybe that's the issue. All right, that looks like a can of corn for Nimmo. All right, 2 down. He's pitching well, though.
6 in a row retired by Walker. 2 out.
I ain't going to lie, though. If he gets through 5 innings, I would take him out just to protect him from injuring himself.
So Walker will start his second tour of the Nationals batting order with Cesar Hernandez, who struck out in the first inning.
Cesar struck out the first night, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, but had a big night last night.
And he grounds one on the right side.
Should be out of the inning here.
Takes care of Hernandez, and it's a quick inning for Taijuan Walker.
All right, guys, going to the top of the floor. Walker has been pitching well, even though he has somewhat of a back issue. Once again, guys, we've got 175 in the stream right now, 68 likes. We got to get that likes up to more likes, guys. Let's go. If you haven't hit on that like button, let's get it done, guys. We're in subscriber mode only, so I'm trusting you guys to get those likes out there. If you have not hit that like button, please do. Once again, guys, Taijuan Walker is struggling with his back. It's clearly a tightness issue, we hope. With his back, and he has heat compression on it. They showed in the last inning, the prior half inning. So he's pitching well. So it's clearly not affecting him to the point where he can't pitch. But we definitely got to keep on looking at that. But he's been pitching well. 3 scoreless innings so far. Got a 1-2-3 inning. Get him right back in the dugout. Put that heat on. Let that offense take care of business. But Walker has been pitching well. Again, I think Buck Showalter is going to be a little cautious with Walker. You don't want to lose Walker. I wouldn't be surprised in the 5th or 6th inning, maybe the 5th inning. If he gets out of that, I might not want to go a little further with Tim, just to make sure that, because when it comes to a little bit of soreness, that can lead, if he starts to change up his wind up or his mechanics, it can cause other injuries. You don't want that to happen. But a nice quick inning for Taijuan Walker. Let's see if that back loosens up a little bit and he can just go out there free and flowing well and get things done. And it's no secret, they do need they need at least 5 innings from Taijuan Walker. And I think that's why he's battling right now through it. So, we didn't use the big guys in a bullpen yesterday, but you don't want to use the bullpen too early today when you got the next 14 games in a row. All right, guys, top of the 4th, Mets lead 2-0. Kana leading off.
It drove home a pair against Yoan Adon. Walked 3 to load him up, and Kana promptly drove in a pair. And that's been the scoring so far. Kana, Davis, and Guillorme for the Mets in the 4th. And Kana flies one down the right field line, slicing away and foul. 0-2 to Kana.
I am.
Every day, Spectre Baldwin brings in the high-speed pitch.
Sure does.
Ooh, there's the high-speed pitch, Keith.
That's a neck and neck right there, boy. By a nose.
Some high-speed pitches. 1-2 to Kana. Doan got the side in order in the 3rd inning on just 10 pitches. He badly needed that after 56 pitches in the first 2. Kana drills one down the line to foul. And it's 1-2. Nice souvenir. Look at that. Ha-ha. Cool. Got the day off from school. I came to the ball game and I got a baseball. We'll tap her up the line. Tough play.
Kana might beat this out, and he does. All right. Another infield single for the Mets.
Infield hit.
You have a Masters at that.
Another infield hit for the Mets. They're 54th. 19 more than any other
wow.
team.
54th infield hit in 30,
So
3 games?
One of the things that we're trying to do a little bit more this year is just keep tabs down on the farm, some of the Mets' top prospects, how they're doing. And one of their most highly rated international prospects that the team has ever signed is Alex Ramirez, just 19 years old, but just won Florida State Player of the Week. He's dominating the league so far this season. His OPS is approaching.
Wouldn't be surprised if Alex Ramirez is going to end up in Double-A in a couple of months.
Scouting, as well as Robbie Robinson, the Port St. Lucie manager. They had so many glowing things to say about him. You see right now, just the athleticism. They talk so much about how he's this kind of wiry kid, but has this power in his bat that you wouldn't expect. He's 6'3", about 175. Expect that power to go up even more as he grows into his frame. Incredible bat-to-ball skills, a true center fielder. The only issue with the bat-to-ball skills is that, as with any young player, they're trying right now to get him to really hone in on the strike zone. But he's having a lot of success. He's hitting balls that are, a foot, 2 feet outside of the zone, down the line for extra base hits. So trying to convince a 19-year-old to change what he's doing when he's having that level of success, not necessarily the easiest thing in the world to do. They have been trying to up the difficulty in practice, though, because it seems that this level is a little easy for him right now. So one of the things the coaching staff has been doing is putting multiple pitching machines on the mound at similar levels of height, and he doesn't know which machine it's coming from. They have some machines on, some machines off, just trying to get him to track balls a little bit easier and just add to the level of difficulty. But the Mets are very excited about this prospect. And it'll take their time with him. He's still a young kid, 19 years old, but he's doing some great things at a very young age in low.
Oh!
Another J.D. Davis gets drilled.
I think he got hit in the face or the shoulder.
Yoan Adon just had very little idea where the ball's been going, and that one It was a tracer that found JD on the shoulder.
4th hit by pitch on the year for Adon, and
the 24th Met to get hit by a pitch. Most of the majors, as I'm sure you know.
This unintentional. Just
no.
doesn't know where it's going, and the Mets are poised to rip this game wide open.
And for yet another time,
all right, first and second, nobody out. Here we go.
Ramirez up in the bullpen. 3rd time he's begun to loosen up, with Adon struggling with his command. Anyway, Alex Ramirez certainly wanted to grow on, just 19 years old, and watching him on video, and I'm not trying to make any comparisons, in terms of what kind of career he's going to have, but body type-wise, he reminds me so much of Darryl Strawberry as a young player. Right-hand hitter, but you know what I mean? Just that tall, wiry, athletic frame. And creates so much bat speed.
He's a little bit like Eric Davis.
Yeah.
How skinny Eric Davis was.
That's a good call, too. Of course, Darryl and Eric were great friends growing up in L.A.
Yes, they were.
Guillorme drew a walk his first time up. Canna had second, Davis at first, nobody out. There's a strike on the inside edge, 1-2. Tomas Nido, the on-deck batter. And Guillorme takes it wide, and it's 2-2. I mean, it's almost every pitch is a crapshoot right now with Adon. Two coming, and it's flicked down the left field line by Guillorme. That'll go foul.
$80 pitches for Adon right now.
Slender players. Johnny Bench said of Von Hayes, he looks like a pair of pliers. That's a great quote.
Well, Von Hayes had long legs.
Did. 6'5". Past the mound, but right to the bag. Gordon steps and fires for the 6-6-3 double play. And 2 out kind of goes
not
to
what
third.
we wanted.
Second double play turned behind Yohan Adon. And so he has a path out of this inning. He's lived dangerously, but so far he's survived. He's given up just 2 hits, 5 walks, and a hit batsman, but just the 2 runs.
That's cool, Joseph.
Von Hayes,
I'm glad I can do that.
was with Cleveland, and they traded a ton of players for him.
Julio Franco. That was the trade. Julio Franco for Von Hayes, right?
Was it straight up?
I think he was a big piece of it.
I thought
Franco first came up with the
see if the Mets get a 2-out RBI here.
I thought it was a bunch of players for Von Hayes. And just a boatload of players.
Right. I mean, he was considered an enormous prospect, Hayes.
Oh, he could run, he could throw.
Let's see if we find you the trade. It was Julio Franco, Manny Trio, George Vukovich, Jerry Willard, and Jay Baller for Von Hayes.
That's it, right? 5-1.
Yeah, ground ball toward the hole.
Yeah, all right. Another 2-out RBI.
Cannon with the third Mets run. Nito finds a hole.
Good at bat on an 0-2 count there.
The Mets lead 3-0.
All
Down
right.
the count 0-2.
Good piece of hitting. Didn't try to do too much there. Got it through the short and third spot hole. Perfect. Waited on that curveball and just right between the shortstop and third base for the 2-out RBI. Good job.
I guess that's going to be all for Adon.
2 trips through the batting order for Adon. 5 walks, a hit batsman, 3 hits and 3 runs, and he trudges
All right, guys,
on.
it's going to be a pitch and change. Adon only went 4 innings. Well, not even 3 2/3. Again, the reason why I like Nido at the plate more than McCann, I think Nido seems like he gets those singles. Neto seems to get the more of the big hits than James McCann. That's why I don't mind Neto starting more often. I don't mind that much. He strikes out a lot, definitely. But Neto seems to always get those hits every now and then. So more often than James McCann. But Mets lead 3-0. All runs in this game was on 2 outs from Kana and Neto. So that's always a good sign. Again, the Mets took their walks, got their clutch hits, 2-out hits, 2-out RBIs. That's what this team has done all year. Again, it's not the end of the world that they don't have a lot of power. It does come up in some games when you need that 2 or 3 run home run to either tie or take the lead. But it is demoralizing for teams when you bunch hits together or manufacture runs, put the ball in play, make them make the mistake. It kills teams. I think this type of team works well in the playoffs more often than a power hitting team in the playoffs. But the Mets got to get there first. And at the moment, they're in a prime spot. So, once again, guys, 3-0 Mets. They got Odon out after the 4th, 3 2/3. Already have to go to the Nationals bullpen. Nice to see the Mets taking advantage of a young pitcher on the mound. Didn't swing at pitches out of the strike zone against this guy. Nice to see. It'd be nice if everybody starts to get hot for this homestand with Seattle and the Cardinals coming up. I will be going to Friday and Saturday's game, so no live streams there. There will be a live stream on Sunday for the finale of the Mariners series. Once again, I'm going to post the 5th inning live as long as Citi Field cooperates for once and has their Wi-Fi working or the reception is better. We will see. But once again, guys, top of the 4th, 3-0 Mets, 2 outs, man on first. Brandon Nimmo coming to the plate.
You just worry that if you got a young prospect, and fragile athletes when they're young, he's 23 years of age, you're risking destroying them.
Nicaraguan right-hander Erasmo Ramirez makes his 2nd appearance in the series. Pitched 2 innings in the opening game on Tuesday night. Comes in to face Nimmo with a runner at first and 2 out, and Brandon fouls off a first pitch fastball, 0-1. Brandon was up twice, walked twice against Odon, who walked 5 in his 3 2/3 innings. Brandon's now reached base safely in 23 straight games. Ramirez has spent time with the Mets in the shortened season in 2020. He throws that cutter in on Nimmo, who fouls it off, and it's 0-2. Odon threw 84 pitches in 3 2/3 innings. 3 hits, 5 walks, a hit batsman, a wild pitch, 2 strikeouts. So far charged with 3 earned runs.
Oh, yeah, taking a 3-0 lead in the 4th.
Double plays they turned behind him.
You don't want to bet the Mets to win because you ain't going to get no money out of that.
Neto at first with 2 down. Full shift now on against Nimmo with 2 strikes. Brandon strokes one toward the middle.
Base hit.
Neto pulls it at 2nd. So with
another hit for Nimmo.
On the right side, Nimmo hits it to the left of second base, and he's on base for the 3rd straight time, and he now has an 8-game hitting streak.
Nice hitting. Got that ball away, went right with it. Perfect.
I'm going to be very curious to see if the Mets try to sign to extend Nimmo.
Mets as a team,
very interesting with Nimmo, even though he deserves it. I don't know if the Mets how much they're going to give him though. That might be the issue.
Strikes, but that's the best in the league. Here's Marte.
Oh, first pitch pop up, get out. All right, you got to play.
It shouldn't be surprising that 199 is the best average with 2 strikes, considering that the league-wide batting average right now across the major leagues is 233, which would be the lowest overall batting average in the history.
Yeah, that's why I worry about that, Joe.
If that were to persist for the full
season. What is Nimmo looking for? 7-year deal? 6-year deal?
1876.
What is he, 28?
233.
I think that's how old he is. So.
That might have been when Rutherford B. Hayes was president.
I know it's before the Washington Monument was completed.
Yes.
from our history lesson today. Marte's hit 2 balls hard. He's 0 for 2. And Ramirez runs a sinker in on him, and it's 0-2. So another 2-strike count. Let's see what Marte can do with it. He lined out to short in the first, and then he hit a bullet to the backhand of Franco, who started a double play in the second. Nito at second, Demo at first.
So he's 29 years old. So how many years can you give him? You know, you seeing him as your center fielder, he's not gonna, you know, he's gonna make more than $10 million a year. So I would think a 5-6 year deal, probably gonna be close to 100 million, maybe more.
Ruiz sets up inside, then moves away. And a foul tip held by Ruiz for strike 3. So Ramirez strikes it.
All right, guys. So Mets got a run there on a 2-out Nito RBI. 3-0 Mets going to the bottom of the 4th. Mets got 4 hits. Nationals got 1 hit. Well, it's not a distraction for us, but we can talk about it. But again, it's a very odd because, you know, Nimmo hired Boris, so you know how Boris is with contracts. You know, Nimmo's the best player in baseball right now, according to Boris. If you're going to talk contracts about Nimmo, but again, I mean, Nimmo's going to be what, 30 years old by the end of the year, or by next year, so 30 years old. So a 5-6 year deal, I wouldn't go more than that because he is your center fielder. You know, you expect someone who's 35, 36, 37 years old is not going to be, you know, as good as a center fielder as he was this year or last year. So, no, Todd, I agree. You know, but, you know, they overpaid for Marte. There's no doubt about that. But the Mets wanted them. That's why they overpaid. So I would think a 5 or 6 year deal around $13 to $15 million, maybe. Probably more in the 15 range. You know, can he go 5 years, 90? I'm not a mathematician here, so I'm just going to do a little bit of math. So that's $18 million a year. I don't know if you're going to get that far. Maybe 5 for 85. So that's $17 million a year. I think you have to give around what Marte got, no? I mean, you paid Marte to be a center fielder. That's basically what the Mets did. So, you know, Nimmo is your center fielder unless you're going to go elsewhere, which I don't see. I don't know where the Mets else would go. So, you know, you could see the Mets 5 for 85, 6 for 90, around that. So he's definitely going to get more, around 15 at the least. So, and Nimmo has played well. In a contract year, he's playing well. So that money's only increasing. All right, guys. So bottom of the 4th, 3-0 Mets.
Lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th. He'll face Juan Soto leading off in the 4th inning. Soto grounded out to short his first time up. Your New Balance fearless approach. Juan Soto last year, runner-up in the MVP balloting, right behind his old teammate Bryce Harper. So last night, Soto hit a 2-run homer against the Mets. It gave him 40 career runs batted in against New York. There are only 4 players who've had more RBIs against the Mets before turning 24 years of age. Bryce Harper, Freddie Freeman, Miguel Cabrera, and the all-time leader in RBIs against the Mets before turning 24 with 50.
Yeah, I understand Nimmo's going to want 7 for 125. He's not going to get that.
Oh, how about that?
I don't think he's going to get that.
Came up as a teenager.
Maybe he might trickle on 100 million, but I don't think 125. Somebody's going to give that to him. You know, the Mets are in a tough spot here because they don't have a center field. You could throw Marte out there, but now you're playing with fire if you lose Nimmo.
I mean, it's only appropriate that Rusty get his own theme song because apparently Gelb's now has his own theme song. Did you hear that? No, I haven't. Game show has concocted the Steve Gelb.
I would do 6 for 100. I think that's fair.
So
for both sides.
Rusty is at least as worthy as Steve. Rusty had the unique
Nimmo also has to stay healthy as well.
position of being
he still hasn't had a full year without being injured. So that's the other concern. If he has a healthy year this year, all right, now we can talk about 6 for 100. But he hasn't been. He's been injured every year of his career.
Then to the Mets.
And you got to remember, guys, he is getting older with the neck injury that he has. So he has that nerve issue as well in his hand. So you got to think about that as well.
He was so beloved in Montreal. And I remember talking with Rusty, and he realized that when baseball came there, they didn't. A lot of people spoke English. French is the language in Quebec. And Rusty decided to learn French, learn to speak French, and he spent the winters there.
True,
and got involved,
but
as he always,
Nemo's 4 years younger, but he also been injured every year of his career. That's not going to get better over when he's starting to get older. So,
3-2 to Soto. He drives one to right center field, back in the gap near the wall, and it's off the fence, bouncing away from Nimmo, backed up nicely by Marte, and Soto pulls into second base with a well-struck double. So Soto, after a home run last night, hits one halfway up the fence and right center for a double.
Now a change up here, just on a tee, did not stay out over the middle of the plate. So spread. And he's become such a pull hitter. Hit that ball a little bit towards the end. Not enough, obviously. He drove that off the wall. Nice backup by Marte.
Otherwise, that would have been a triple for Soto after Nimmo got a little too tight to the wall. So here's Josh Bell, who singled to left his first time. And he takes up and away for ball one.
Again, in this game so far, guys, Mets left a lot of runners on base. They do have a 3-0 lead, but leaving a lot of guys on base, not scoring those extra runs, keeping this team around that has power is a little bit scary.
Walker had retired 7 in a row before the Soto double, and now Bell fouls off the fastball. It's 1-1.
Well, he's opting out. It's just he is. And somebody, if the Mets don't take the chance on DeGrom, somebody will. So I expect the Mets to sign him.
Lindor staying tight to Soto at second base. Bell takes a cutter inside. It's 2-1.
Yeah, it's the first hard hit he really gives. Besides, I think the second inning. So I'm not going to go crazy yet with Walker taking him out. I mean, he did give a hit up to Juan Soto, who's one of the best players in the game. So
skewing down to third and trying to advance to Soto, and now he's caught in a run down.
All right, we got him.
Walker makes the tag, a play at second.
Oh.
Walker throws it in the right field. Not trying for third is Bell. The throw by Marte.
Got him. Yeah. What the hell was that? Wow.
To carve out 2 outs.
Everybody did damage.
First, Soto trying to advance on a ball in front of him. And then when Walker threw the ball into right field, Bell, not realizing that Marte was there to back up, thrown out easily. It's a 5-6-1 put out on Soto, and then a 9-6 put out on Bell.
This is worthy of another look here. Yarme, bad base running by Soto. Walker, ill-advised throw by Walker.
It was on the set up, Keith. He threw it away because he knew Bell would break for third. Now there's some attention to be paid to Walker. Remember, we were looking at his back earlier and the fact that he was doing bends and had some heat on his back. And now after making that tag play at third base, Jeremy Hefner and one of the athletic trainers out there.
No, I think they thought Walker dropped the ball after he tagged Soto.
Well, here's the tag, and he slides into him. I mean, he got the best of it. The best of Soto there.
I mean, you're allowed to block the bag. It's not home plate, so I don't know. It's not obstruction. But that's might have been what they're what we're trying to review. But what is he supposed to do? I mean, So 2 outs on terrible base running by the Nationals. Helped out the Mets there.
And then 9-6 to retire Bell. It's officially not a double play, but it sure feels like a double play to Taijuan Walker. And good job by Walker to fill that space on the rundown and make that play happen. Because not every pitcher remembers to do that.
Well, that was one too many throws allowed Bell to advance to second base. In a perfect world, you get him with 2 throws, the runner's at first base. But as it turned out,
well, first, it was bad base running by Soto. I don't know where he thought he was going in the first place.
He didn't know where had not to know where the infielder was.
I mean,
he just didn't know where
he was going to be out dead to rights if he kept on running. Romeo was right there with the ball.
And you know, in today's game with the shifts, you really
I'll definitely take it.
Here's Bell. And he's there, and he doesn't even look.
He sees the ball go awry, and I mean, Marte was right there backing up, and that was the other fine play that Marte had closed the distance to be able to back up that throw. And
that's what happens when you got professional ball players on your roster. Marte knew to come in to back up the ball just in case of a wild throw. Marte was basically playing 25 feet from second base. He was running in. So most outfielders wouldn't even think to do that. That's why you always got to think on your feet. Every player has somewhere to be during a play. Every player. That's why a catcher backs up first base when there's a routine ground ball. You just have to do it. Should get out of the inning. Can of corn for Canna. All right. Alrighty, guys. Going to the top of the 5th. Mets still lead 3-0. Listen, it was a lot of things in that technically wasn't a double play, but those 2 outs. What's nice to see is that Marte backed up that play, knowing that there's a possibility of a wild throw to second base, so he came up. Because if he was just not really paying attention or not really coming in, Bell would have got the third easily. Soto made a stupid base running play that gave Guillermo the opportunity to put him in a rundown. So a base running error. Now, I don't think Bell was a terrible base running call. He just never looked back, so that's bad on his part there. But, again, I can assure you there's probably about 70% of a right fielder that probably wouldn't have backed up that play that actually made that play a lot easier to get out Bell at third base. So that's the reason why when you're on the field, and that's why when you have guys that know what they're doing, especially veterans, that know where they're supposed to be on any particular play. Like I said earlier, the catcher backs up first base when there's a routine ground ball, just in case of a wild throw. Same thing with the pitcher backing up third base or backing up home plate. Everywhere, everybody on the field has someplace to be during a play. So, again, the same thing when a shortstop or a second baseman, when a catcher throws the ball back to the mound, a catcher, a second baseman or a shortstop has to back up the play just in case the ball gets past the pitcher when there's a runner on. So things like that don't show up in the box score, but was obviously a big play in the 4th inning. So nice to see the Mets actually be where they're supposed to be. Top of the 5th, Lindor leads off. 3-0 Mets.
For New York against Erasmo Ramirez, Mets with a 3-0 lead. Lindor has walked and flied out today 0 for 1. He lays off first pitch curveball, 1-0. Lindor, Alonso, and McNeil. When you talk about the Mets and their 21-11 record, there are so many things that stand out. Sure, the starting pitching for the most part has been great. They pitched well overall. But the 2-strike hitting, the base running, the defense, the hittiness on unusual plays has just been off the charts. And you trace it back to that guy.
I agree, and it started in spring training.
I mean, you got veteran players, you've got heady players, but they're all bought in. Line to left, and over comes Hernandez.
Oh, almost missed that one.
But he stayed with it. had caught it. I think he lost that ball at some point and took one step too far and then had to reach back for it.
Well, that was a bullet. Yeah, you can see he's saying he lost it. That is a...
You're right there. You see it ducked like he didn't see it.
No, true. Again, Soto got in the way, but again, if Marte was playing way back, he might have not even made the throw anyway, because that would have been too close to third base. So, not worried about Lindor. He hit that ball hard.
Struck out and grounded out 0 for 2. Pete chases a cutter, 0-1.
You know, Gary, you talked about Marte and his heading this. You know, Canna has also been involved, and I've watched him in the field, and he's also very alert out there. Outfielders can back up.
You know, in 99 times, it probably is, you know, you back up and nothing happens, but that 100th time,
yep. And Rusty was a stickler on that. Rusty Staub always backed up when he played right field.
Kind of like the catcher running up the line to back up the play at first. Precisely the same thing. Runs every time. The one time that the ball gets loose, maybe you get a free out.
Once again, guys, you got 192 in the stream right now. Not even 100 likes yet. Let's get to that 100. Let's keep on going, guys. You haven't hit on that like button yet? Take a second to hit on that like button, guys. Mets lead 3-0, top of the 5th.
Just turned his head.
And also, insurance is kicking in on DeGrom's contract right now. So Cohen's not actually paying that money at the moment, because I think it's what, if you more than half the season, insurance kicks in, which he probably will. So you got to look into that as well.
Now here comes Marte late. This is a late developing play, but look at him hustling in, and that's what makes it happen. He could have stood out there and been a spectator.
Thank you, Joseph.
Well done.
Two coming. It's fouled away.
Well, Walker just makes the tag here, and Soto got a little offended. Well, I'm sorry. You know, you now he's got to get out of the way.
Yeah, that's it. Waiting for the throw to come in, and Bell's coming around. So it got a little crowded there around third base. And, you know, Taiwan's a very big guy. And far enough off the base that I think it surprised Soto when he slid into him. But I do think that the Nationals were arguing, at least for a moment, that Walker had obstructed Soto's path without the ball in his hands. Rounded down to third, and Franco handles the hop and throws out Alonso 2 away.
Well, it's not the rule like home plate with the catcher. It's only the catcher that can't block. He has a right to be in front of the bag. He has a right to be in front of the bag.
But you can't block the baseline without the ball, right?
But you have a right to be there. I mean, he was just in front of the bag, right? So he has a right to be there to catch the ball. What's he going to do? Go out here? And he has a right to be there. Only the catcher. The Posey rule, as we call it, he can't block home plate. There's that wrap around the lower back.
He's definitely been dealing with something from the time he took the mound this afternoon. But so far, he's thrown 4 scoreless innings with whatever's ailing him. McGill has walked and lined out to right. He's 0 for 1. See, the Mets have had at least 3 line drive outs in this game. They had the hard hit ball by Marte into a double play. They've had a bunch of balls that they have struck solidly that have not been hits. They've had just 4 hits in this game. And McGill hits one down the left field line, slicing away from Hernandez and out of play.
So, guys, just one more thing on the headiness, the little things that the Mets are doing so well. I was talking to Buck Showalter about that, and he said, you know, as a group, when you do those things, there's great karma as a club, and just like effort, those are the things that should never go into a slump.
I agree, Steve, because you start doing things the right way, and it's infectious. And it's winning baseball, and it's fun to be out here. It's fun to be 21-11.
And when you say infectious, Keith, I thought something else that Buck said was interesting. He said, what you want is a circumstance where if you don't do that thing, back up, cover in the right place, that it's your teammates who will say it to you. That as a coaching staff, we don't even have to because they'll police each other. And he said, this team is in that mode right now.
Well, it all starts with the conversation. Buck engages his players. Example, that play in New York when Davis went to second base on the appeal play.
Right.
That was discussed with Buck, with his teammates, with his players, excuse me, spring training. And Davis remembered, and probably wouldn't have thought about that. That's a play I never saw before. And boom, what happened? Results.
But
gets the players thinking.
not only did he do it, but it was Nito who reminded him. So
Right.
it was multiple guys who were aware of the situation and took advantage of it. So it's all about creating a culture and creating an environment where everybody is on point for every pitch of every game. And it's hard. It's a very long season, and concentrations and attention spans can be short, but Buck's not the kind of manager who's going to let anything slip by. 3-2 coming, and McNeil gets one in the air to center, and Thomas eases back. That retires the side.
All right, so Mets in the game done there. Going to the bottom of the fifth, still 3-0 Mets. Again, Walker's still dealing with that back. That collision with Soto probably didn't help his back, but he's pitching well, and you know what? He's fighting through whatever he's got going on with his back. That's always good. Hopefully he doesn't injure himself more, but it seems like it's just a stiff back. We hope. But Mets 3 runs, it's sticking around that little area right there. This team can easily score a couple of runs in a row right now, and I worry about that a little bit. But let's see if they can keep on going here, because Walker's pitching well, and it'd suck if the Mets, give up a few runs here and doesn't get him the win. But I honestly think Walker's going to be out of here after the 5th inning. I don't think the Mets want to take a chance. Bing bong. Once again, guys, let's get over 100 likes. Let's try to get to 150 today. We're at 170 people in the stream right now. If you are there, please hit on that like button if you have not as of yet. I can assure you some of you did not hit on that like button yet. Don't be too stubborn with that like button, guys. I don't think I'm that difficult to deal with, right? All right, guys. Bottom of the 5th. Mets lead 3-0.
Couldn't quite get there.
He almost got there.
Well, with whatever is ailing him, with his back or anything else, Walker was in a full sprint across the line.
Nice hustle by Walker. He tried to bunt it and tried to run to it in foul territory, but just missed it.
Not feeling, for someone that's got a little, he's hustling after this. guy?
Just glad he didn't go down the dugout steps.
Yeah, he's definitely in pain.
Definitely struggling.
He's definitely in
I just
pain.
think you want to get 5, get him a win.
Well, so far, the results have been good. He's only given up 2 hits. He hasn't walked a batter, hasn't struck out.
Yeah, I think this is Walker's last inning. I don't care. I know he's pitching well, but he's clearly laboring out there.
So he's been able to flip that curveball in for a strike when he's wanted.
He's not overthrowing, you know, what I see.
Yeah, Angel, I don't think they're going to do it.
Spotting the ball, not trying to
He looks in a lot of pain.
Really good fastball.
He's a tough SOB, but
Keibert Ruiz on deck for the Nats.
Back pain can be debilitating. We all know that. Especially trying to throw on a mound. It probably is not feeling good right now.
Gets the ball tomorrow night against Taiwan Walker's old team, the team that drafted him in the first round, the Seattle Mariners. I'm sure that Ty has mixed feelings about missing Seattle. It's taken high 2 balls, 2 strikes. Of course, there are a lot of connections now between the Mets and the Mariners in the wake of the Edwin Diaz deal a few years back. Speaking of which, it seems as though Robbie Cano might have found himself a new job, or it is that it's about to sign with the San Diego Padres, who have struggled with their DHs so far this year and might take a flyer on Cano. For all they only have to pay a minimum salary, the Mets are picking up the rest.
A minimum salary at what, 700? Is that what it is this year?
Prorated 700, something like that.
Nice.
3-2 from Walker, and Hernandez lifts it toward the left field line. Canna coming over, and that'll go out of play. Road Ahead brought to you by your local Tri-State GMC dealers. Your home for the Mets on the radio is WCBS News Radio 880 and anywhere on the Odyssey app. So the Mets have 3 with the Mariners, and it's not just Jared Kelenic, but they also have Paul Sewald, who's had a prominent place in their bullpen. He was hurt a little bit earlier in the year, but he's back in pitching. And Chris Flexen, who has been an important piece of the Mariners' rotation the last couple of years, who's ball for Hernandez. He's on. Flexen will not face the Mets in that.
Yeah, I think that nice weather's going to help Cano.
He's off to a little bit of a rougher start.
I mean, would anybody be surprised if Cano starts hitting in San Diego? I wouldn't.
The best pitcher that the Mariners have also won't face the Mets in that series, and that's Logan Gilbert, a young right-hander, 6'6", right, who is 4-1, 2.13. You know where he went to college? He went to Stetson, same school that produced Jacob deGrom and Corey Kluber, a couple of Cy Young Award winners.
Yeah, the Phillies beat him. The Grand Slam.
Yeah, that was yesterday. Here's Ruiz flying one out to left, and Canna waiting for it to come down. 1 out. Hernandez back to first, 1 away.
It's unfortunate that Walker's hurt right now, because if he was fine right now, he could probably easily go 7 or 8 with his pitch count at 59 right now.
That's why they've fallen 4 games under 500. There's another guy with New York connections who will be coming to Citi Field in that series. I'm not sure how many people know that Jesse Winker is now a Seattle Mariner. You remember Jesse Winker when he was with the Reds?
Waving the hand at the outfield, at the fans?
The diving
well, we remember that. Don't worry.
Waving to the fans, making friends everywhere.
Double play.
Nice backhand play, Lindor. The turn by McNeil.
Yes. Nice turn by Lindor and McNeil. Beautiful double play. Alrighty, guys. Going to the top of the 6th. Nice double play turn by Lindor and McNeil to end the inning, giving Walker 5 innings of no-run baseball. Well, again, the big reason why the Mets have been playing well as well is their defense has been very, very good this year. Very good. Remember, there was a lot of defensive issues last year with this team, but right now their defense and their pitching has been helping this team along, especially, we only got 3 runs. We had a lot of men on base already. I didn't do a scorecard today. I was a little busy today, so I couldn't put it together as quickly as possible, but Mets got to score some more runs here. 3-0's nice, but that can easily go away quickly with a power. This lineup can score runs, and they've been playing better lately. It seems like Walker's probably done. I don't know if he wants to go another inning. I doubt the Buck Showalter will. but I wouldn't mind seeing Walker, but I think you just don't want to risk it. If he pulls something or messes with his mechanics a little bit because of his back injury, he can hurt himself more, and then you won't have him for a while. You don't want that. So, again, the bullpen has been good this year. They're rested. No reason why the Mets can't use their bullpen in this game. Chino, do you think the Mets you think this game is going to go over 8 runs? Not the way it's looking. I'm assuming you're trying to bet on the over-under of this game. I would go under at this point. The Mets are struggling to score runs. The Nationals are having trouble hitting Walker. Again, the bullpen is coming in. We'll see. But after 5, Mets lead 3-0. Walker has pitched very well so far, even with the back injury that he's been dealing with since the start of the game. So, listen, he fought through it. He's a bulldog. Like to see it. Here we go, guys. We are in the top of the 6th. Mets lead 3-0.
Owns that game, top of the 6th inning, Gary and Keith.
Sound like overall better outing for Mets than his last time around when he got straight for 7 runs in the first 2 innings. Stream the Mets with the new SNY app. Watch live Mets games, pre- and post-game shows, and all SNY programming anytime, anywhere, on any device with an in-market TV provider subscription. The SNY app. Scan the code and download now. Mark Canha has 2 of the 4 Met hits today and drove in the first 2 runs. And he swings and misses the first pitch from Carl Edwards, who is the 3rd Washington pitcher of the day. Edwards took it on the chin in the first game of the series. Came out of the bullpen, gave up 3 runs in 1 inning in his Nationals debut. Canha slices one foul, and it's 0-2. Canha, Davis, and Guillorme for the Mets in the 6th. Edwards, the longtime Chicago Cub who has bounced around the last few years. Now his 2nd appearance with Washington. Ramirez went an inning and a 3rd in relief. No runs, 1 hit. And Canha hooks one on the ground to Franco at 3rd. 1 away. Was about J.D. Davis, who got plunked in the shoulder by a Yoana Doan pitch his last time up.
Haven't said nothing yet about who's in the bullpen's warming up yet for the Mets.
Walker, for a guy who is clearly struggling with a physical issue, has had himself quite a day so far. 5 scoreless innings. He's thrown only 60 pitches in the 5 innings. And he's battling through whatever is ailing him.
Just seems like to me that he's pitching to contact, Garrett.
Oh, 2 to Davis. So Edwards, who struggled in his first outing, has come in throwing strikes today. Carl Edwards had some really good years with the Cubs back in his heyday. 2016, 2017. Was part of that Cubs championship team in 16. Fastball a little high to Davis, 1-2. J.D. fouls one off. Hey, want to pass along our best wishes to John Stearns, a great bad dude, been a little under the weather, and just want John to know that everybody here is thinking about him and hoping he gets well in a real hurry.
Yes, John. Those late 70, early 80 Mets.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty bad for the Phillies for sure. The Mets can bury the Phillies. Yeah, but the Mets have somewhat of a tough schedule too. Not as much as the Phillies, but you can distance that for sure.
He's the only guy. Mets, and said the team is really ready to turn it around. He told me all about the minor leagues, and he didn't have to do that. And I'll never forget that. And I was surprised, man. I don't know how he got my number, but he did. And he said, Keith, I think you should stay. New York's a great city. You're going to love New York, but this team's got a lot of talent down in the minor leagues. They're ready to turn the corner. And you can be a part of it. So,
Swing and miss, and JD's down on strike for the second out. Well, John is a man of great honor and swagger and confidence. And I know that he will come out a winner, whatever he has to face.
University of Colorado football.
A hard-hitting linebacker is what he was.
I got in a collision with him at home plate in St. Louis when I was with the Cardinals, obviously. And he didn't take his mask off. And his mask hit my collarbone. And I was so mad at him. Because he could have broke my collarbone. We laugh about it to this day.
Well, you know about the time he flipped Dave Parker, right?
All right, guys. So another 1-2-3 inning for the Mets offense. Going to the bottom of the sixth, Mets still lead 3-0. 4 hits for the Mets, 2 hits for the Nationals. Again, they didn't say nothing about the bullpen, so it's looking like Walker's going to go 6. And with that back issue, that would be great for us. I mean, you can't ask for anything more from Walker. 5 scoreless, looking like he's going to come out for the 6th. I'm pretty sure that this will be his last inning, but who knows? The Mets will probably have somebody warming up just in case he gets into a little bit of trouble. Mets offense, after the first 2 innings, they haven't really done much. But they still got a 3-0 lead. You always like to tack on some runs here, but look, Mets win 3-0. Who's going to complain, right? Once again, guys, don't forget to hit on that like button. Finally got over 100 likes through 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours of the stream, guys. If you have not hit on that like button, please take a second to hit on that like button so more people can come into the stream later in the game, or when the stream is replayed for people, they can get it at the top of the YouTube search. And it's up to you guys who are the subscribers to hit on that like button. And do not be stubborn with that like button. I'm assuming if you're a subscriber, you kind of like the channel. You might like a little bit, a lot. So it's up to you guys to hit on that like button just so we can get that stream out to more people. Because that's why I'm here, to have fun with more baseball fans and more Mets fans. Other than 170 that are here right now, that's what we want to do, right? Enjoy the game, talk baseball, talk about the game. Sorry, I just saw a commercial that I liked. Once again, guys, Mets lead 3-0 going to the bottom of the 6th. Walker looks like he's coming out for the 6th, which is a little surprising to me, but I'm not shocked. If Walker said he can go, he can deal with it, put him out there. All right, guys, bottom of the 6th, ready to start. Here we go.
Right by the Anacostia River. And
Walker is out there.
Capital. D. Strange Gordon leads off the home 6th inning and swings and misses at a first pitch curveball. See, Tom wants to throw enough of those first pitch curves now they're looking for it. Still can't hit it. Gordon grounded out to short his first time up.
He's got 1 strikeout. He's been putting the ball in play. He's been in a lot of discomfort in this game. It's been noticeable, and he's not overthrowing it. It's just what you call pitching to contact. You know what? It keeps your fielders on their toes. He's throwing strikes.
And now he has to leap for a comebacker. So after racing into foul ground, chasing a pop-up,
that probably didn't feel too good on his back, reaching for that ball.
His basketball hops to grab this comebacker. He keeps on persevering and smiling his way through it. Well, we've been talking about the Mets and Mariners at Citi Field tomorrow night. First game starts 7:10. Our coverage at 6:30 with Max Scherzer on the mound. And for more on the Mariners, let's check in with Steve.
Well, Gary, I feel like you got cut off talking about Jesse Winker, who Mets fans know well. Had a great season last year. Looked like a great trade for the Mariners. But, boy, has he been struggling as Thomas shoots one into right field through the hole for a base hit. The crazy thing about his season so far, Winker's season so far, is that he's really struggling against a fastball, a pitch that he just crushed a season ago. So, yeah, that's the story on Winker. But we know Mets fans, the one thing they care about is Jared Kelenic. He is struggling mightily this season, hitting just 140. You know, you talk to people around the Mariners, and there's a sense that they just really rushed him to the big leagues. He only had 235 plate appearances between AA and AAA. He's someone who wants to be great. He's putting a lot of pressure on himself, chasing
Joseph,
results.
I'm not a wrestling fan, but I was just curious for a second. Because it's at Madison Square Garden, so that's why I looked at it.
As for another one of their top prospects, Julio Rodriguez, he's been one of the few bright spots for a Mariners team that's struggling right now. He has been great over the last few weeks, and a guy that not just can hit for average for power, but also steals a lot of bases. So he's an exciting player to watch this weekend.
He's going to be a superstar, Julio Rodriguez. Not only the talent, but the effervescent personality too. And that's in a city that embraced Ken Griffey Jr., Rodriguez looks like that kind of player. But your point about Haniger's injury is well taken. It's not just Mitch Haniger, but Kyle Lewis, who's another bright young star for the Mariners, also out, and that has forced them, I think, to keep Kelenic in the major leagues because they need the outfield help.
It definitely has, and they are pleased with his play in the outfield, actually. That's the one thing that the Mariners have been happy with when it comes to Kelenic. Apparently, he's taken decent at-bats at times as well, but I think it's pretty obvious that if they had the horses, long-term it would be better served to get him some time back down to AAA.
Cesar Hernandez, the batter, and he lines one the other way, falling fast. In comes Canna to pick it off for the out. Nicely done by Canna, who got a good jump on that ball to catch the sinking line drive by Hernandez for the second out.
Well positioned.
Well, the Astros have been streaking in the AL West. They're playing 2 games in Minnesota today, one that was suspended because of a tornado yesterday. They're going for their 9th straight win, leading 11-3 in the 8th. The Angels getting good pitching finally to go with all of their offense, leading that division. And Seattle trying desperately to hang on. Here's Soto, who doubled his last time up, and he moves away from a fastball that catches the inside corner, 0-1.
It's good to see the Angels playing well. They've got, like you said the other day, Gary, 2 of probably the best players in the game. Right? They're getting pitching. They've always been an organization that just can't get it across.
Well, Syndergaard's pitched well for them. ERA is about 2.5. He's still on Twitter.
Oh, what a curveball.
By Walker, and it's 0-2. By the way, Noah went back on Twitter to say that he was not tweaking the Mets when he said that, the only legitimate no-hitter is a single pitcher no-hitter. He said it was just a general observation. But that's, Noah likes to stir it up, as we know. Here's the 0-2 coming, and that curveball is fouled off. So Walker making
what's up, bud?
Great use of a curveball that doesn't throw all that much in normal circumstances.
He's making Soto take bad hacks at that breaking ball.
Ty's already throwing 9 curveballs today. Normally they throw 2 or 3 in the course of an outing. And he comes back inside with a fastball that Soto fouls off.
Looking good so far, Homeland.
Thomas at first with 2 out. Walker trying to put away Soto. He fouls off a fastball. This one left away.
97 by Walker on that fastball.
Soto's swings the last couple of days have been really good after a rough night, the first night of the series. Not going to keep him down for too long. He's just too good a hitter. Again, the 0-2. Comebacker and another.
What a play by Walker. All right.
He gets the out. Well, he may be in this.
What a performance by Taijuan Walker today with that back issue he's having since the beginning of the game. Excellent by Taijuan Walker. 6 innings, no runs, 2 hits. 3 hits, sorry. Very good performance by Taijuan Walker. Probably done now, but who knows? But what a performance. I mean, you can't ask for anything more from Taijuan Walker. I think before the game I said 5 or 6 innings, 2 or 3 runs. Well, he went 6 innings, giving up no runs. So better than expectations. And you know what? The Mets only scored 3 runs. So, you know, we had to keep them runs at a minimum against with the Nationals, making them score some runs. So going to the top of the 7th, Mets lead 3-0, guys. So looking good so far, and going to our deep in the bullpen, or our big guys in the bullpen probably for the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Mets are in the driver's seat right now to get their 22nd win of this season and put a little bit more pressure and a little bit more of a distance in the NL East, depending on what everybody else does in the NL East today. But as someone was saying in the chat, the Phillies are going on a long West Coast trip, a tough West Coast trip. This is the time where the Mets can basically bury the Phillies in the NL East. You know, right now, what are they, 6 games out of the division lead? You know, by the end of that West Coast trip, the Mets play well. You know, it could be a 9-10 game deficit for the Phillies to come back. And it's not easy to come back from. You know, you got to have the Mets play at a 500 pace, and the Phillies got to be at 10 games over 500 just to catch up. So that's why it's important to, you know, win series. You don't got to win 6, 7, 8 in a row. You know, you win, you know, 3 out of 5, you know, 5 out of 8, 5 out of 7, stuff like that. No, the Marlins are 6 games out as well. You know, the Marlins have to keep up, you know, their winning ways too. But again, the Mets, the Marlins have to be 8, 9, 10 games over 500 just to catch up to the Mets, and the Mets have to go on a long losing streak. All right, guys, top of the 7th, Mets lead 3-0.
Did you notice the father, how he was swaying back and forth? Very, very fatherly.
I think so too, Joseph.
Did you ever have a rocking chair when you have little kids?
Rockabye baby.
A glider movement where you put them in the car for a nap. Nino hits one sharply, played on a hop by Hernandez, and he throws out Nino.
Right.
Boy, he made that look easy. He backed up and got the longer hop.
That's why they give out the gold, Keith.
I know.
Cesar's got a gold glove.
Let's go to Gary Apple.
Oh, we're going to go to Gary Apple for a studio update? Gary, Keith wants to send it to you. It's all yours.
I'm good with that. Here we go. You mentioned how hot the Astros are, Gary. They got 6 in the 6th inning today at Target Field. Alex Bregman, RBI, ground rule, double, 11-3 Astros. That game, bottom of the 8th inning. I think it's only right that I send it back to you guys right now.
Well, I'm going to give it right back to Keith since he gave it to you. Go ahead, Keith. Driving one to right field. Soto moving back, and he picks it off. The ball almost beat Soto over his head on a bullet line drive by Nimmo, but that's the second out. Well, the Mets did some hard outs today.
They sure have.
So 2 up and 2 set aside by Carl Edwards, who's having a better go of it than he did 2 nights ago in his first outing for the Astros. He's retired his first 5, and now Marte, who has 2 of those hard-hit outs, a line out in the first, a double play in the second, struck out in the 4th. The starter for the Nats, Yohan Adon, lasted just 3 2/3, walked 5.
Marte is duty. He's been struggling a little bit.
Ramirez an inning in the 3rd, scoreless, and now Edwards working his 2nd inning.
Yep, and Walker is not done, Gary. There's 2 outs and no one's up in the bullpen.
All right, Walker might get the 7th, guys. Like to see that.
Well, all credit to Taijuan because, you know, it's really easy to pitch on days when you feel well. Although some pitchers will
All right, guys. Sorry about that. For some reason, my internet went down for a second. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that, guys. A little bit of a little technical difficulties. All right, guys. I'm sorry about that. I think it's okay now, I believe. You can hear me. You can see me. Hello. I was not abducted by aliens. I promise. All right, good. You guys can hear me. Good. So we're going to the bottom of the seventh. The Mets didn't score any runs. 3-0 Mets. Taijuan Walker looking like he's going to pitch 7, so that's a good sign. So now I got to share the screen again because I kind of lost everything, basically. That's kind of annoying. No, it was definitely the Wi-Fi for sure because I saw my Wi-Fi go down. I'm like, uh-oh. So I had to make a quick dash to see what was going on with the modem, but everything was good. Let's hope someone didn't shut down my feed. That would have been annoying, right, guys? That would suck. All right. Let's see. So we're going to the bottom of the 7, guys. Walker is coming out for the 7th. That's freaking awesome, actually. I do not believe they knocked me off. It was definitely my Wi-Fi, so we should be okay there. If not, I blame you guys. No, I'm joking. So here we go, guys. We're going to the bottom of the 7th. Taijuan Walker is on the mound. Here we go, guys.
3 pitches. They'll face 3, 4, and 5 in the Nationals batting order in the home 7th. Bell, Cruz, and Hernandez.
Oh, it's from the 7-line army, Danny.
Bell had a base in the first, then was involved in that wild, not really double play in the 4th inning. When Soto and Bell both ran themselves into outs. And that really is set the tone for this afternoon. Walker has done the rest. He's walked only 1. He struck out only 1. And Bell pops one up third base side. Guillorme watches it go into the seats out of play. 0-2. There have been only 7 hits in this game. The Mets 3 runs, 4 hits. The Nats no runs, 3 hits. The Mets have had the much better of the contact today.
Yes. Walker's been in command, and it's just not just pitching today.
And he gets the rollover into the shift. In comes McGill. And a close play. Bill hustling down the line, but he's
got him out,
half
though.
a stride for the first out.
Boy, did you see McNeil? He knew he had to come get that ball. He was playing out in the outfield. Watch him right here. We're getting the tail end of it, but he spreaded in to get that ball because he knew he had a tough close play at first.
Bell could smell a hit because of the shift. But he was out. As Diaz made the proper call. So 1 out and nobody on. Now Nelson Cruz, who twice has hit the ball to Canna in left field.
So this is just the awareness of McNeil. Watch where he's positioned. Watch him come in and get this ball. He knew he had to. McNeil's always on point.
He really has done a fabulous job, whether it's second base or in left field. Great awareness.
It's like those squirrels, in the fall when they forage for those acorns before they go into hibernation. Before winter approaches.
Lugo and Shreve is warming up in the bullpen.
Like the grasshopper in the end.
It's fun to watch this team. It's fun to watch them play in the field.
I did see what Dor said.
We've got this view here. I know you love this view of
McNeil was just a
here in the stratosphere,
very depressed and angered person, smiling a lot more this year.
I feel displaced, but I can see everybody on the field looking down.
Cruz flies one out to right field.
There's
Marte.
2 outs.
So Walker has held his former
It is there to be watching Mcgill a little bit, see what he can do.
This was that double play.
Well, bad base running by Soto here. One too many throws. An ill-advised throw from Walker, and a very bad base running by Bell. Alertly backed up by Marte.
It was a 5-6-1, then 9-6. Not double play. Double play. Because it's not a continuous play, because there was a bad throw in the middle of it, so you can't draw it up.
Well, he struggled against the Braves, too. Oh, even SNY is going down right now. What's going on here?
Well, in case you're wondering where we are, we're up on what they call the 5th floor, but it's really the 7th floor of Nationals Park. Right up here. Keep your eye. It's still going. Still going. Still going. See, we never got down to the field.
As far as that camera was pulling away, folks, from you, that's how distant it is down the field. But it's an overview.
I think it's great. It reminds me so much of sitting in the upper deck.
You know, I think the problem with, especially the younger pitchers like Tyler Mcgill, is that he faced so many of the same teams over and over again because of our schedule. I wonder if that's the reason. You know, they've been seeing him so quickly over the first month, like the Phillies. Maybe that was the issue. I don't know. But the Nationals, you never know. All right, should be. Oh, yeah. All right, guys. What a performance by Taijuan Walker. 7 scoreless innings for Taijuan Walker with the issue of the back all game. I mean, it's just a perfect performance by Taijuan Walker. You couldn't ask for more from Taijuan Walker. Again, I said 5 or 6 innings, 2 or 3 runs. I would take that. And he went above and beyond. That's nice to see, guys. Basically saved our bullpen once again, even though we didn't really need the save of the bullpen, but we got it anyway. Now we only need, hopefully, only 2 pitchers to get it done, maybe even 1 to get through the game. Probably 2, most likely. So 3-0 Mets going to the bottom of the 7th. Taijuan Walker with a performance that I don't think anybody expected, honestly. 7 innings, no runs, 3 hits. That's a nice performance right there. See if he can build off of that. I mean, just imagine if he was healthy and his back wasn't hurt. He might have pitched a complete game. His pitch count was still low. What was it at? 85? It's not a bad pitch count at all. You know, he could have probably won 8. Once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button. Sorry about the Wi-Fi issue about 10 minutes ago. But, you know, technology. But once again, guys, don't forget to hit on that like button. We'll have a quick little post game after the game, so stick around for that. But going to the bottom of the 7th, Mets lead 3-0. Endurance runs, I don't know. Excuse me, going to the top of the 7th. Excuse me, guys. Top of the 8th. Excuse me about that. Top of the 8th. I keep on saying top of the 7th. Top of the 8th. All right, guys, here we go. Top of the 8th, Mets lead 3-0.
We're going to take a look at his usage, but I'm also going to go to the touch and have a look at that crazy 4th inning play.
I'm looking forward to that.
So am I.
Post-game show on the way. Gary Keith, we'll see you guys soon.
Yep, shaking hands with Walker. Walker is done.
Shakes in the dugout after 7 scoreless innings and 85 pitches, and a job incredibly well done on a very different kind of day for Taijuan.
Well, but he had to have a nice bounce back from the start up in Philly. You know, he's been an off and on start for him on the IL. Only his 4th start of the year. And this is a big one here. 3 hits over 7. Only 1 strikeout, Garrett, putting the ball in play.
It'll be interesting to hear from Taijuan after the game how he was feeling, what the back issue was, whether it was something he had to fight through, and how it influenced his pitching, because it clearly did not have a negative impact. In fact, might have had a positive impact. Kyle Finnegan on the pitch in the 8th inning for Washington Francisco Lindor leads off and fouls back a first pitch fastball.
Yeah, Finnegan's got good stuff. He's a solid pitcher.
Lindor, Alonso, and McNeil as the Mets look to tack on in the 8th. It's got 2 in the first, 1 in the 4th against the starter, Yohan Adon. Bullpen's been good for the Nats so far. Rosmer Ramirez for an inning and a third. Carl Edwards for 2. And now Finnegan gets the ground ball into the shift. And Strange Gordon throws out Lindor 1 away. That's 11 straight Mets that have been retired since a Brandon Nimmo single back in the 4th. And here's Alonso, who's gone 0 for 3 today.
Pete's had himself a nice road trip. Really productive. Look at the RBI.
Leads the league, 28.
8 home runs. 280 batting average. Batting average coming back into the fold here.
I remember us having this conversation in Pete's rookie year in 2019 when he hit the 53 home runs. But talking about how well-rounded he could be as a hitter, and we talked about the fact that he could be a guy who hit 280 in addition to all the home runs. And we're seeing that now come to fruition.
He is very disciplined. He's one of those guys that studies, and he has a formula, even if his practice swing. I like the way he does his practice swing, his check swing, I should say. And he really focuses on keeping that front shoulder in. You know, they're going to jam you sometimes. And the whole thing about hitting and pitching, pitcher gets you worried inside, he's going to get you away, and he's got the edge. They're going to get you sometimes in there. They're out there making a living, and Pete just doesn't get bothered when they get jammed. He stays right with his formula.
Disha Thozar had a nice story in the Daily News today about Pete and his baseball journal. He's got one of those old-fashioned composition books that he keeps in his locker, and every day after the game, after the post-game celebration or whatever, he'll take 10 minutes, write down his thoughts about the game, how he was pitched, what he did in the field, how something felt, good, bad, or indifferent. And he keeps a new notebook for each season.
It's almost like a diary. Mm-hmm. It is a diary, really.
Your diary. I hit 2 home runs today. That's a good one, right? It's slider by Finnegan, 2-2.
Wasn't that a Woody Blues song? I believe it was.
Which one?
Your diary.
No.
I think it was
thinking Tuesday. I was thinking Tuesday afternoon, except it's Thursday afternoon.
You're not a Moody Blues fan. I was, and I think that Dear Diary was in Question of Balance album, if I remember correctly.
Broken back grounder, and Strange Gordon in front of this one. So 2 batters, 2 ground balls to short, 2 outs for Finnegan.
And just as I was saying here, he got his bat broken, he got jammed, but he had a good swing. They're going to get in there once in a while. And that to me is a good at bat. The pitcher just made a quality pitch.
So do you think when he pulls out his notebook in an hour or so, he's going to be writing down good at bat even though I broke my bat? Or do you think he'll take a different view?
I think he's got to feel good about his swing. Not happy with the result.
No, I'm not talking about the result. I'm talking about the process there. I mean, you say it's a
JD,
good swing.
once again, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Broken as McNeil just barely missed an extra
Shout out to JD once again.
But would some players take a different view of that? I broke my bat, therefore it was not good at bat.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. Everybody's different. I remember a lot of times I got jammed once by Randy Lurch, who, when he came up, really threw hard. I remember I called my dad at home, and he jammed me up and in. And I hit a broken bat ground ball to second base, much like Pete did there. It was a shortstop.
Finnegan got some tough stuff. Hard fastball, nice break on his breaking ball. Seth Lugo is the only one warming up in the bullpen, so he's definitely coming in for the bottom of the 8th. Gotta appreciate JD there. That's awesome. I appreciate that, JD.
To Mcgill, who's 0 for 2 on a walk today. Jeff takes the fastball upstairs from Finnegan, 1-2.
Jeff's looking for a base hit here. Rare 0 for 2 going with a walk. And he always finds a way to get on base, one way or another.
Got a base hit his last time up in last night's game. Nets have only had 4 hits in this game. But that's been enough the way Walker pitched for 7 innings. Now hoping that Lugo and Diaz can finish it out in similar fashion. McGill shoots 1 foul, 98 from Finnegan. The Nats bullpen's been pretty good in this series. I mean, other than Edwards' rough go of it in the first game of the series, they got outstanding relief last night after taking that big lead. Both Arano, Espino. Today, Ramirez, Edwards, Finnegan. Haven't seen their closer Tannerani in this series. McNeil
fighting it off. Staying alive and out of that.
Finnegan. Hal Finnegan out of Texas State University in San Marcos. Same school that produced Paul Goldschmidt. Not a noted power, but that's a pretty big name. One, two coming. And McNeil hits one into the shift. And Hernandez in to field it. 3 ground ball lines for Finnegan.
All right, guys, going to the bottom of the 8th. Seth Lugo will be coming in for the Mets to protect the lead. And clearly, if the Mets don't get any runs in the top of the ninth, Diaz will be saving the game for the Mets. So 3-0 Mets going to the bottom of the 8th. Taijuan Walker, excellent 7 innings with no runs, 3 hits. Excellent performance by Taijuan Walker. Let's see if the bullpen can do what they have been doing and shutting down the opponent and getting another save for Diaz, winning another series in the 2022 season. Mets have been perfect except for 1 series this year. It would be 9 series that they won and 1 that they split against the Braves, obviously. So, see if the Mets can do that, and it'll be a nice little probably taking the bus or Amtrak home to New York to face the Mariners and the Cardinals. And after the Cardinals, they go to Colorado, where I will be for a 3-game set against the Rockies. So that's going to be fun. So I'll be at the game tomorrow and Saturday at Citi Field. Sunday, I'll do a live stream for the finale of the Mariners-Mets game. I'll probably do 2 games during the Cardinal series. And then I'll be in Colorado. Obviously, no live streams in Colorado, guys, during the game because, well, it'll be hard and there's no guarantee that the hotel – I'll be at all 3 games. So I won't be doing a live stream during those games. But as long as Colorado has some good Wi-Fi at Coors Field, I'll do 15 in live for you guys each of the games that I go. So the Friday night game, I'm just going with a bunch of friends. And the 7 line's going to be there on Saturday, so they're going to be there probably for all 3 games as well. So once again, guys, I really appreciate everybody tuning in to Mets vs. Nationals rubber game. Today, Mets leading 3-0 going to the bottom of the 8th. So once again, JD, I appreciate the second super sticker of the day. JD's the MVP today. For sure. I really do appreciate it. Once again, guys, hit on that like button so we can get that stream out to more people before the end of the game. And when they replay it, it will be at the top of the YouTube search list. All right, guys, bottom of the 8th, Seth Lugo in the game, 3-0 Mets.
At the bottom of the 8th, 3-0 New York. And Ruiz takes first pitch curveball up and in for ball 1.
Seth's last time out was the second game of that doubleheader in Philadelphia. He's got a consecutive scoreless streak going. 7 innings, 7 appearances.
Now that curveball in for a strike, and He's had much better command of that curveball over the last few outings.
He got off to a sluggish start. He's also got 2 saves.
Ruiz 0 for 2 today, and he grounds one foul outside first. 3 straight curveballs from Lugo, and it's 1-2.
Ruiz is a nice looking little left-hand hitter. Oh,
we've got fans here.
Oh,
what does it say?
Gary, Keith, and Ron go together like PB and J.
Do I have to explain to you what that means?
Please, one more time.
No, I'm not. It's enough already. Here's the 1-2 coming. And he goes swinging on a curveball.
That was a terrible at-bat.
Ruiz is a strikeout victim.
Wow,
1 out.
Nasty hook.
I think he thought maybe he got a piece of that ball. But the home plate umpire, Chad Fairchild,
Ryan, so far so good. What'd you see at the movies, Ryan?
For the 3rd strike.
Hard to say, his foot got in the way. Lugo's foot kicked up.
I mean, he swung at that like he had a cricket bat in his hand.
Just swung at it like he got full here.
I mean, it looked like he was going for a 6.
Hey, that's just called...
it's a sticky wicket.
I'm going to see that sometime next week. Was it good, Ryan?
1 out and nobody on now, Michael Franco, who was fouled out and grounded into a double play. Well, Taijuan Walker had himself a fascinating afternoon.
Yeah,
85 pitches and 7
Dr. Strange is always some
runs, 3
trippy
hits,
stuff going on.
1 strikeout. Pitching with what's appeared to be a bad back. He had to run for a foul pop-up. He had to jump for a comebacker. He had to swerve for another ball hit back to him. But he was up to all the tasks. I mean, Taijuan is a fabulous athlete. He was a great basketball player back in high school. And
oh, boy.
He muscled through what was troubling him today and gave the Mets 7 terrific innings.
I'm wondering if Seth has an easy 8th.
That's it over the bank, just foul.
If he has an easy 8th, if he'll let him go 2 for the save. I'm not sure. Diaz hasn't been overworked, that's for sure.
Diaz worked in the opening game of this series and had himself a fairly quick 9th inning. Gets the baseball. Oh, he gets the baseball. 1-2 coming to Franco. Fly ball out to left
That
center
looks
field.
like a can of corn for Canna.
Grabs it. He circles
2
to
outs.
get it, and there are 2 out. So Lugo retires his first 2.
Ah, there you go. Kid got the ball. That's the right
the way
thing to
it's
do.
supposed to go. I got the ball.
You know, Lugo, what he does well with that curveball, Gary, when he throws that fastball up in the strike zone.
Why the nervous look? I'm always nervous.
Curveball breaking down, he can go up and down.
I'm a Mets fan. If I'm not nervous, I'm not a real Mets fan.
Strange Gordon. He takes a fastball.
But Lugo looks sharp today.
Gordon's been up twice, grounded out both times. Filling in this entire series for Alcides Escobar. He's got an infection under his finger, which has kept him out. And Lugo gets the slider in for a strike, and it's 0-2.
I think he was looking for the curveball. He's throwing everybody the first 2 batters hooks. And he
I think Diaz is going to come in the 9th.
To Gordon there, fold him.
Nice curveball. Nice pitching performance by Lugo. 1-2-3. Going to the top of the 9th, 3-0 Mets. Yeah, excuse me. I wouldn't put Lugo in. Why pitch him 2 innings? There's no need. You got guys in the bullpen who are mostly rested. Put out Diaz there, get him to save. No reason to pitch Lugo 2 innings. He pitches 2 innings, he's probably not going to be available tomorrow. So at least you pitch Lugo 1 inning, Diaz 1 inning. Everybody's available except for Williams and Nagosek tomorrow. So you got your full bullpen to go for the Seattle series, starting it off. And who knows, you might not even need much bullpen tomorrow with Scherzer on the mound. So I don't think Lugo's going to come back in the game. It doesn't make sense. But again, it is Buck Showalter. He does some things that I don't agree with, but he usually gets it right. So Lugo looked nasty. His curveball was on point. The fastball was located. Exactly what you want to see from Lugo. Again, Lugo has been good ever since the first couple of games of the season. he struggled. But other than that, he's been really good. So no worries there. Mets bullpen has been very good. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit on that like button. I know it is the 9th inning, but we get that stream out to more people and get that replay out to more people who actually wants to take a little bit of time watching the stream, which has been very beneficial for the stream, honestly. The replay has been no joke, honestly. A couple of thousand people have been replaying the stream, so that is something that's pretty cool, and that's why the like button is so important after the stream is over. So once again, guys, hit on that like button. If you're just tuning in or you're just hanging out and just forgot to hit on that like button, please do. We're going to the top of the 9th. See if the Mets can get an insurance run or two. If not, it'll be a save situation for Edwin Diaz. And the Mets can get the 22nd win of the season and another series win. And it will be 9 out of 10 series win without the Mets losing a series yet. So the Mariners have Marco Gonzalez, George Kirby, and Robbie Ray pitching in the series against Max Scherzer, Chris Bassett, and Carlos Carrasco. The 3 guys you probably want in the pitching rotation right now against the Mariners. So here we go, guys. Top of the 9th, Mets lead 3-0.
Award winner Robbie Ray on Sunday. PB and Jay. Jay will be joining us on Friday. That's wrong.
Oh, that's true.
Today we're just PB.
You got to believe.
Or as Tug McGraw would say, you got to believe. Steve Cishek on to pitch the top of the 9th. And Mark Canha takes away for ball 1. Canha had the big hit in this game. Bases loaded single in the first inning against Yoana Doan. Cishek pitching for the 2nd time of this series. That's bullpen has been superb. They've retired 13 in a row. Canha hits one to deep left center. Goes Thomas on the warning track at the
yeah.
line. It's out of here. Mark Canha with his 2nd home run of the year. And
all right.
It's 4-0 New York.
Here's that insurance run.
So Canha greets Cishek. 3rd hit of the day for Canha as he blasts one into the seats.
I didn't think he hit it that hard.
Home run of the day, and Canha has 3 of the 4 RBIs.
So there's a sinker that didn't sink.
Oh, yeah.
Down the middle.
Definitely got all of that. It didn't look like he hit it that hard.
I wonder if they'll sit down Diaz now in a non-save situation.
Whew. That was a shot. Right, left center field.
Rub up a new ball. J.D. Davis takes.
Well, I think it's a 3-game
series.
He's
over 2. He's also been hit by
against the Cardinals. Or 4. It might be 4. You might be right.
Just standing around.
I think the Mets can win 3 out of 4. But again, I'm not going to complain about a split either.
To get going after the 1st or 2nd out.
But again, if the Mets struggle against the Mariners, you might want to take 3 out of 4 against the Cardinals. But at the moment, as of right now, and Diaz is warming up in the bullpen. As of right now, I don't mind taking a split against the Cardinals. But it depends on what you do in the Seattle series as well. And what other teams in the division do. You know, if other teams struggle in the division and not winning a couple of games in a row, you're not losing much ground in the division, and that's the most important thing.
Sharply, but right at the shortstop, Strange Gordon.
Davis has hit in a lot of bad luck this year.
So it was interesting. Steve was relating the story about Canha earlier in this series, and how despite
Canha got a 2-year deal, so
early in the season, he felt
he's here next year too.
Right? And that he was going to
it's a little quirk in the schedule where the Mets haven't even faced the Marlins yet. I don't think they faced them until next month. So almost 3 months without facing one of your division teams is weird. But that means we got a lot of games the last couple of months against the Marlins, who, as we know, are a pain of our ass. Yeah, you know the Cardinals are going to be ready for the series against the Mets. After what went down in St. Louis, they're going to be ready.
Jason Shreve is getting up alongside Diaz.
Bobby, looking good. 4-0 Mets. Connor just hit a home run for a little bit of insurance. So 4-0 Mets going in the top of the ninth.
2 switch hitters.
So Diaz is still pitching, but Shreve is also warming up now since it's a 4-run lead. No save situation right now.
I think it depends more on the score, to be honest. If they score another run, then maybe you go with Shreve. If it stays 4-0, maybe I go with Diaz.
Maybe he runs Lugo out for a batter.
Yeah, but why would he have 2 guys up in the bullpen?
Just have, in case it gets out of hand, you make sure you have your closer ready.
Well, neither one of them is throwing like it means it yet, so we'll see. And misses inside. Guillorme 2-2. Nito waiting on deck.
I mean, Hernandez is a better right-hand hitter, hitting 320s. He'd be the second batter. He's hitting 326 against lefties this year.
Yep, Connor, huge game, 3 RBIs.
Struggling against lefties.
Guillorme flicks one foul.
And Bell certainly
better left-handed.
Be a much better left-hand hitter. So that's why.
Yep, Bobby, I'll be at the game tomorrow.
Lugo had an easy time of it in the 8th. 1, 2, 3, 11 pitches, couple of strikeouts. Doesn't look like he's coming back out, though. 2-2 coming. And Guillorme goes down on the fastball, so Cishek has a strikeout, and that's the second out.
And the only other guy with an RBI today for the Mets, Tomas Nido.
Coming up tonight on Geico Sports Night, with the day game, we can tell you what time Geico Sports Night will be. 11 o'clock.
I should be home by then.
All the Major League Baseball news. Oh, it's football schedule time. That's always big. That's a win. That's a loss. What do you think, Dawn?
Gary Cohen doing a Mike Francesa impersonation.
Like the highlight of the football offseason, right? Mike and Chris going down the football schedule?
I never.
Steelers week 5. Well, that's a win. That's a loss.
Well, for the Jets, that's a loss.
All right, Bobby, just let me know. Leave a comment where you're sitting, what section, and I'll hit you up and see if we can go.
Bates it to drive it a run. He's 1 for 3.
It's Blackout Friday, so everybody got to be wearing that black tomorrow.
Mets are in a stretch of 16.
I'll be wearing my Scherzer jersey tomorrow.
Without an off day. This is day 3. And that has an impact on how you use your bullpen as well. It's swung and missed 2-2. I don't think we even mentioned today that Stephen Nagosic, who threw 3 hitless innings yesterday, earned a trip back to Syracuse for his troubles. And the Mets brought up Jake Reed, the side-arming right-hander who they got from the Dodgers last year. Reed had been hurt early in the season, otherwise might have had a chance to make the club out of spring training. 2-2 to Nito. So Seth Lugo and Jeremy Hefner looking at his performance today. Happy. Good to see Seth happy and performing well. He had a little struggle there the first couple of weeks of the season. Strike 3 call. Nito's caught looking.
All right, guys.
Puts an end to the top
going to the bottom of the 9th. Looks like Jason Shreve is coming in the game, or Diaz. We'll see. Both of them are still throwing in the bullpen. So Connor gave it that one insurance run to make it 4-0. Connor, big game today, 3 RBIs. First inning, 2 out RBIs, 2 out, 2 RBIs, single to give the Mets a 2-0 lead at the time, and hit a bomb of a home run to left center field, giving the Mets a 4-0 lead. So Connor, player of the game as of right now. Hopefully it stays that way. But Connor has been struggling a little bit, and it's nice to see the Mets and Connor actually performing well. Bobby, 437. I'll be in 519, so we're not too far from each other. So I'll definitely poke around 437 and see if you're around. You might notice my face. I probably won't notice yours since it's hard to see your profile picture. But if you see me, just stop me. Don't worry if I'm doing something or not. Just pop up and say what's up. I don't mind. I'm online. I'm doing something. Whatever. Don't worry about it. Just say what's up. Don't be shy. And let's be honest, guys, Seattle hasn't been playing well this year. They got a couple of struggling. They have a struggling lineup for the most part. And the Mets are missing their best pitchers except for Ramirez. So, obviously we want the Mets to take 2 out of 3, but Seattle is struggling a little bit. So I definitely think the Mets have an opportunity to take advantage, especially with Chris Bassett and Scherzer on the mound in the first 2 games. Obviously, it's a nod up to the Mets. And you got Carrasco, who's pitched well the last 2 times out. So it's 3 good starters against really good starters against the Mariners. So it's a good step up for the Mets, and good opportunity to take advantage of a team that's struggling right now. So it looks like Diaz is in the game for the 9th, 4-0 Mets. So here we go, guys.
Live visit SpectrumMobile.com and by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on the most exciting lineup ever. Shop NissanUSA.com. Last of the night, 4-0 New York. Travis Jankowski on for defense, getting his defense card from Eric Langell, bullpen catcher. Nice job, Langy.
Jankowski's in left field.
And don't drop it. Edwin Diaz will come in a non-save situation. That's looking for their 7th shutout victory of the season. Diaz trying to close it out for Taijuan Walker. Lane Thomas, first man up, takes a slider out of the strike zone for ball 1. Thomas has one of the 3 hits for the Nats today. He rolled a single through the right side in the 6th inning. Walker was terrific for 7. Seth Lugo a dominant 8th, and now Diaz in the 9th. And he misses high with a fastball, 2-0. It's going to be a tough call for a manager when you're in this kind of a stretch where you don't have any days off now for a while, whether to use your closer in this circumstance or not.
I thought he might.
Oh, Joe, you mean like
against
behind the plate and field level?
And then bring Shreve
I haven't in a couple of years. I don't really like those seats, even though you get the free food and drinks.
2 switch hitters, both
but
left-hand hitters.
Other than that, yeah.
And I think also,
sometimes I like
running out Diaz to start an inning rather than bring him in with a couple of men on if Lugo or Shreve got in trouble. So I think that
I like to move around the ballpark a lot too. So if it stands up at 0, 7 shutouts this year in 33 games, not too bad at all. Pitching has been really good for us.
Cesar Hernandez on deck, and then Juan Soto. Of course, this weekend everybody's looking forward to the first matchup.
That's pretty cool, Joe.
Between Diaz and
what is that? The Delta Club, right?
I mean, that's going to be a headline, right? The first time they go head to head. 3-2, and Thomas.
Ooh, nice slider. Diaz's slider has been excellent this year. As we all know, that's his X factor. Yeah, it's a little expensive behind there. If you got it for free, that's always good, but definitely expensive.
Look at that slider. It's a slider over the middle, Gary. But he gets away with it because it drops, it sinks, and it sinks late.
Pitch has been superb in the early season for Edwin. Here's Cesar Hernandez, who's gone 0 for 3 today.
Yeah, bullpen has been solid too. Pitching all around has been solid all year.
Playing in.
Oh yeah, I like that. Oh yeah, I know that app, Joe. Yeah.
He's a good bunter, so
yeah. Again, that's the X factor for Diaz. If his slider is sharp, like it has been this year, all year. I mean, it doesn't matter where his fastball goes because they'll be looking for that damn slider, and that fastball's going to blow right by him. See this right there. Felt behind 2-0. Know he has a lead. Fastball right down the middle.
You get fined for that.
Woo.
Down 4 runs in the 9th inning, swinging at a 2-0 pitch.
Well, you got fined if your manager told you to take and you swung.
Yes. But I mean, the assumption had to be, right, that you were going to take a pitch. And that slider on the corner for a strike, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, we're just checking the Delta seats now. They're around $160 for tomorrow, which is not terrible, but I don't know if I want to pay $160 when I already have a ticket.
2-2 coming. And this is low, so the second straight full count for Edwin. Three-two coming. struck him out.
Slider, baby.
Went right back to the slider to Fan Hernandez. Diaz fans the first two in the ninth. And the Nationals.
Yeah, exactly, Joe. That's why I get it. Yeah. Wow. That slider. Joe, what's the name of the app? Do you know? I'm trying to figure out what now. What it is.
So 2 out and nobody on for Soto. 1 for 3 today. A double off the fence in right center in the fourth. And Edwin misses up and away for ball 1. Soto 1 for 6 in his career against Diaz. The 1 was a home run.
That slider is nasty.
Soto on your way out of town in a spot where he can't beat you. And he fouls away a fastball, and it's 1-1. 100 miles an hour from Edwin. Max Scherzer tomorrow night at Citi Field against the Mariners. First of 3 against Mets' first interleague rival of the year. Piping away to Soto 2-1. Mets will face 2 lefties in that series. Marco Gonzalez tomorrow night, Robbie Ray on Sunday. With the local product George Kirby in the Saturday game.
Woo.
2-1 to Soto. And he catches the inside corner. That's the second time
in the inside
Soto
corner.
has jumped back from an inside pitch, only to have it called a strike.
Right.
And now the Nats are down to their final strike. Two from Diaz to Soto. And a high fly
that's gone.
deep to right center. Back goes Marte on the warning track, right near the wall, and it's out of here.
Where you get that ball?
Soto breaks up the shutout with 2 out of the 9th. His second home run of the series, his 8th of the year.
And that was a high fastball that he turned on.
Looks like Soto might be coming out of it a little bit. I mean, that's one of the top premier closers.
Yeah, Joe, text me later. We'll talk about it.
Not a bad pitch. He probably wanted to get it more up in the strike zone. He's just a tough man to keep down. Fast bat.
Well, as I said, just the way you want to face Soto on your way out of town where he can't beat you.
Exactly.
Now it's a 4-1 game, still 1 out to get. And here's Josh Bell fouling off a slider, 0-1. Bell is 1 for 3 and a base hit back to the first.
Solo home run can't hurt us.
So the second home run for Soto against Diaz in 7 career at-bats.
No, it's no save until he puts people on base.
He's not had quite that fortune. He's 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts against Diaz.
I'd rather him challenge him than walk him with nobody on.
Fastball away, ball and a strike.
Oh, what a slider.
And again, the Nats are down to their final strike. One-two coming to Bell. And this is away, 2-2. Nelson Cruz would be next. This is what you didn't want. Right. Have Diaz have an extended inning, 21 pitches already. 2-2 coming. And he lays off another slider, and now it's 3-2. Get it back for Bell. Making Diaz work.
Gotta challenge him here. Don't throw any sliders. Throw it over the plate. Let him beat you.
3-2 Bell. It's popped up. Third base side. Guillorme.
Come on.
And he has room to
yeah. Put it in the books.
Nice play by Guillorme to end it.
Nice win.
Tremendous innings from Taiwan.
Beautiful.
Lugo and Diaz finish.
Alrighty, guys. Mets get their 22nd win of the season, and at the very least, remain 6 games in first place in the National League East. Mets win 4-1, 7 excellent innings from a hurt Taijuan Walker with his back, struggling the whole time with that back, but 7 innings, no runs. Bullpen came in with Lugo and Diaz. Shut down for the most part the Nationals. Diaz gave up a solo home run to Soto, which meant nothing. I'd rather him challenge him than put people on base and make it interesting. Got it done. Obviously, Diaz doesn't get the save, but he did make sure he got the job done, and that's what you want from your closer at certain times in the year. So 22-11 for the Mets. 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors. Nationals 1 run, 4 hits, no errors. So once again, guys, couldn't expect anything more for Taijuan Walker. I mean, imagine if he would have pitched well with no injury. He might have went a complete game. You never know. But once again, guys, Mets 4-1. This is another series win. 9 out of 10 series this year. Haven't lost a series this year yet. Let's continue that trend. Going home, 22-11 for the Mets. First place is going to be a fun weekend. You got Kelnick coming back to New York for the first time. You got Jesse Winker, who played with the Met fans a couple of years ago. You got Paul Sewald. You got Chris Flexen on Seattle. So a lot of former Mets as well. It's going to be a fun weekend. Always packed on a Friday and Saturday night. It's a Saturday night game as well. So that's where we are right now. I'll be there on Friday and Saturday, so it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Once again, guys, really do appreciate everybody tuning in today. And once again, shout out to JD, who gave 2 super stickers for a good amount of money. I'm not going to lie. That was a little shocking to me, and I really do appreciate it. JD, if you're still there, thank you so much. 22-11 Mets. Once again, guys, if you're still hanging out, don't forget to hit on that like button before I end this stream so I can get this replay out to more baseball fans and, of course, more Mets fans. So once again, guys, Mets are 22-11, won today 4-1. It was an easygoing game. It didn't really feel like the Nationals were ever going to come back in the game, but it was a good performance all around for the pitching staff, and you can't say anything more about this Mets team right now. Little issues here and there, but all in all, they find ways to win, and that's what we wanted to see. Once again, guys, appreciate everybody tuning into this afternoon Thursday game, rubber game against the Nationals, but the Mets took care of business once again in the series, and that's what we want to do. Thanks for all the support, guys. Once again, guys, I won't be live streaming Friday and Saturday because I will be at the game. I'll do my best to try to get a 5th inning live in. I will go live on Sunday for the finale of the series against the Mariners. So see you guys until then. Have a good afternoon. Have a good night, guys. As always, Mets fans, let's go Mets. Have a good night, guys.